Kuwabara, Kuwabara. Rain, rain, go away. It's time for Pixel Pulse. It's I, Colonel Volgan, joined by my other host, Colonel Volgan. How are you doing, Volgan?
Kuwabara, Kuwabara.
Kuwabara, Kuwabara. What was the one thing that he keeps shouting when you're doing the Shadowhead fight? There's like one thing he constantly saying is over and over.
Something, my unit.
Yeah, something like that. Hi, Quinn. How you doing, bub? Welcome to Pixel Pulse, the show where we pixel and we pulse.
Pulse so good.
Yeah, dude. Out of everyone that I've ever met on this show with the name of Quinn is Trash, you are number one at pixel pulsing. Have you ever thought about that?
Holy shit, no.
Yeah.
That changed me. I'm different now.
How so? Tell me how you're going to use this information to better your future.
It's not that it's going to be used to better my future. It has now become my future, right?
Okay. Yeah.
It is not. I have now embodied myself into it instead of having to learn it as part of me. It is now just me.
Okay. Yeah, and who are you, by the way? Can the people know who you are?
I am Colonel Volgan.
Colonel Volgan, Kuwabara, Kuwabara.
No, my name is Quinn. I am Trash. I do Twitch stuff sometimes. Don't ask me when. I can't give you a specific answer, but yes.
It's a good point. He's onto something with that one. Do you often be called Quinn, or do you often get called Trash? Like when people come into your stream, do they call you Quinn or do they call you Trash?
Oh no, it's just Quinn.
Okay. Well, that's good because as far as I'm aware, this dude is a fucking goated with the Sauce Gamer and can kick my ass in any video game. So I don't know why he calls himself this.
He's a liar and I'm going to throw up.
Keep throwing up. See what happens.
Keep throwing up, please, God.
Please. I need this. I need this right now. Keep doing it. God. I'm GabrielSurge, by the way, and this is Gaming Outlet Pixel Pulse. This is our 13th episode. It's our 13th reason why we have to keep doing this show. It's the unlucky number 13, and it's the one where we'll probably primarily be talking about some jabroni console that's coming out, or maybe it won't. I don't know.
Jabroni console.
Yeah, but before we do that, Quinn, you've been playing a game with the character with an eye patch, and I happen to know a thing or two about eye patches. So please tell me about this game you've been playing.
Oh yeah. So I have finally done it. It's finally happened. I am finally playing a new game instead of like rehashing old games.
Kuwabara.
Yeah, no, seriously, like it's been a problem of mine, and now I'm solving it. So because of that, I picked up Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. And I've got to say,
is it Yakuza or is it Yakuza? Have I been pronouncing it wrong this whole time?
I might have been pronouncing it wrong this whole time. I have no fucking clue.
Neither do I.
Yeah. Little did I know that truly doesn't fucking matter. Then to get
what, pronouncing the name of the game?
Yeah, 100%. They definitely don't like sing it during the options screen when you're in it. It gets pretty intense. Yeah, no, I picked up that game. I've been playing it I'm on the 4th chapter now. I don't know how many chapters they got, but I'm getting a little ways into it now. We've unlocked multiple combat styles, gotten a lot of the storyline at this point. And it is such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Have you played the other Yakuza games?
I have watched through Yakuza 0. But no, I have not. This is the first one I've personally touched.
Okay. Yeah, I played Yakuza 0 myself last year. I liked it a lot.
Okay. Was it like, how was the gameplay of it? Was it good for you?
So the gameplay for me got a little boring after a little while, just because it kind of got repetitive. But I also didn't do a lot of the side stuff, and I think it's mostly a me problem because I didn't really experiment too much with the combat system. I'm not the biggest like when it comes to like action games like Bayonetta or DMC, I tend to just kind of do the same combo over and over and over again. And Yakuza has a lot of different combos you can do, especially ones I think you can unlock. But I am bad at doing those, and I just do the same one over and over again, and it gets boring for me because of that. But the story was amazing. I loved the story of Yakuza. And I was also really bad at billiards. Really bad.
Do you like One Piece?
I've never watched One Piece.
Damn.
But I liked Majima. Majima was probably my favorite character in Yakuza 0. So I probably would like Pirate Yakuza.
The thing is, it's the same character if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Majima is yeah.
Yeah. That's how little I know about the other parts of the series. But he's like apparently he's a 60-year-old man who's lost his memory and ends up on an island, saves a child after getting saved by the child, goes onto the island without any knowledge of who he is. People are knowing more about him than he does, which is great. And then he just decides to become a fucking pirate. So now he's a pirate Yakuza stranded out in Hawaii.
Fucking based.
And that's legitimately that's the plot. And it gets like I said, if you've watched One Piece, you would understand this, but it's pretty much like he gets a pirate crew around of plucky, happy-go-lucky good guys, and they go around helping people. And I'm like, that's legitimately fucking One Piece.
Yeah, I like my eye patch characters. In case you didn't know, there's just no reason in particular. It's just I like eye patches, and I mean even back when I played Yakuza 0, that was like middle of last year. Majima was just cool. I liked his plotline more than the Kiryu plotline. Not that Kiryu's was bad, but just Majima's was I don't know a lot. There was a lot more going on, I felt like, and I was just more intrigued and more drawn to that one. It also helps that Majima, the character, later becomes, as I understand, basically the comic relief guy. And to see him have like such like a huge, deep like story that he goes through in Yakuza 0 makes him all the more better, in my opinion. And I just look forward to when eventually I play Yakuza 1. That'll probably be the next one I play. And I can't wait to hear him go, Kiryu-chan, which apparently he does a lot. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Then you'll end up liking Like a Dragon. Because he's just like that too. It's already like I've only recruited 3 other people. 2 of them were main plotline characters, so like they already had like deep stories already. But like I think we got this guy. His name he's got some weird ass name. It's like something like beef something beef Captain
Stroganoff.
Beef or something like that. I think his name is Captain Beef.
Okay.
And and he's just like this super nerdy dude who was a fucking pirate captain and like 100% did not fit in. And he had a huge fucking backstory that was like extremely fleshed out, that got emotional and shit. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, that's kind of the game I'm dealing with at this moment in time. It's wacky. It's super, super wacky, and it's not afraid to be. It knows it is, and that's what makes it good.
Yeah, Yakuza's really good at being both wacky and emotional when it wants to be. And I think a game that can make me both laugh and cry as far as the story is concerned is very good. I don't know if I quite shed a tear at Yakuza 0. I may have. I don't really remember. I'm not saying I didn't, but I have cried at video game stories before. I'm not afraid to admit. And I do remember just there's some really good shit that happened. But I was told a while ago that I need to play all the Yakuza games in order, which I've heard from you that I don't really need to do that with this one. But even still, I've been
the fact that it ties in, you could, but truthfully, like you're not missing out. Like it doesn't like it goes into explaining itself pretty well.
Okay.
Like what happened is now that I've lost my memory, turns out there's like an island near Hawaii that's like got like near Honolulu that's got Yakuza there, and they're like doing some kind of radioactive spill pickup or some shit.
I
And
heard that
that's
this was
apparently
a
where
plot line in one of the previous Yakuza games that's getting picked up from this one.
yeah. Yeah, it's some weird stuff, but one of the other main characters from I think Zero is in it, and he goes and trying to explain to your character since you lost your memory what's happened up to that point, so it catches you up.
Okay.
So even if you haven't played it, you can still pick it up and be like, oh, okay. You won't get all the cool story since you didn't play the game, but at least you know what's happened.
Yeah.
They really dumb it down. They really dumb it down.
Would you say the plot of the main plot of this game is dumb, or just the recap is dumbed down?
The recap is dumbed down.
Oh, okay.
The plot is pretty good. I like it so far, and we haven't even done a whole lot. We just left the main island that we start off at, and so much has already happened.
Base.
It's pretty good. I would definitely say it's worth picking up, even at full price, because they were cool and didn't make it overpriced.
Is it 60?
It's lower. It's lower cost than everything else out right now.
Yeah, we'll get into that for sure. But you've been playing anything else, or just Pirate Yakuza?
Well, I mean, I was gonna keep on talking about this shit. So the island we just got to, it's I'm not gonna name it off because I just don't want to spoil anything. But we just got to this island and it had mini games on it. And something I didn't know about the Yakuza games is that apparently there's just a shit ton of mini games in all of them.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I spent so many hours just trying to beat billiards on like normal difficulty, and I couldn't do it. The AI was too good.
This one is extremely similar to that. Then I went to the first island, and already I've got probably like 5 or 6 mini games to play. All of them with like 3 difficulties in each difficulty with like 10 levels. On the first island, you get your own personal room. You just start off in your own like little room that they're like they have you set it up and all this shit, and then you leave. And I don't think I'll ever go back to that room. I don't know yet. We'll find out. But that room had a Sega in it. And you could go, and it was its own emulator and had like 10 different Sega games on it. You could just turn on and play. Yeah.
Which games system was there? Please tell me they had Ristar or whatever.
No, they had Fantasy Zone was because it's games made by that company. So Fantasy Zone was probably the most well-known one on that list.
Okay. I mean, it's Sega that makes Yakuza, right? Or is it a division of a different company?
It's Sega, but like the people that did Yakuza also made like some retro Sega games, and those are the ones they feature on there. It's like made by the old school division of the team or whatever the fuck.
I see. Excuse me.
It was cool. It was nice seeing that. I was like, that's like it was like the old Master System, like their first version of the system.
I want to say there was some kind of racing game that I played from time to time in Yakuza 0 that was in some of the Sega
racing.
Arcades. Huh?
Probably Virtua Racing.
I think so. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think that's the same people, and then they would have like Virtua Fighter as well. That was also made by those people.
Yeah.
Or some shit like that. I don't know. I'd have to look into it to know for sure, but I'm pretty sure I saw both those games on that list too.
Hang on, I can do some sleuthing here.
I would do sleuthing, but right now half the keys are missing on my keyboard.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, Yakuza 0 arcade games. Let's see. Club Sega has is there a list? There's not a list. Outrun.
Maybe one of my favorite Sega games of all time.
Yeah, it doesn't
most memorable soundtrack of any Sega game.
Yeah, there's Outrun and Space Harrier in Yakuza 0.
Space Harrier is so good.
Well,
The only way to get outrun
go ahead.
on the Switch otherwise would be through, you have to like, it's called like Sega Genesis Classics. It's like a weird, like they've made like standalone games of like old games on the Switch, and that's one of them. And I
Oh
think that
yeah.
you can't even like on their Sega like app they've got for online, and then like the Sega Genesis Classics game itself with like the 20 something games on it do not have Outrun, and you have to buy it standalone, which is super super awesome, by the way.
I didn't play Yakuza on Switch. It didn't come out on Switch until after I had finished it. Like I'm talking like the next week after I finally finished the game was when the direct aired that announced Yakuza games were coming to Switch. I was like, thanks. But it was fine because I wanted my game to have a stable frame rate anyways. So I played it on PC and I enjoyed it mostly.
But yeah, if you'd enjoyed those, this one's pretty good so far. Even
You've been
the
playing on PC?
yes, to the extent of like I've been doing like nonstop boat fighting since I've gotten the ability to boat fight.
So there's boat fighting. So it's Sea of Thieves.
I hate to say kind of, but kind of. Except for like you can do some more off the wall shit. Like you have jet boosters on yours, and you can jet boost for a moment and like drift with the B button and like drift sideways and fire your cannons off like while drifting. It's pretty cool.
Drift cannons. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a whole lot yet, but I've seen some obnoxious shit. Like I saw somebody's boat with the ability to like jump over things. So like they were jumping over other boats and dropping like anchors on them and shit. Yeah. So like I'm only starting to scratch the surface of what I can do in this game, which is great.
Yeah, I have been knee deep in the world of Xenoblade, and like I am like 70 hours in after like maybe 2 weeks. Has it been 2 weeks? It's been 3 weeks as of so it's almost been 4 weeks this week since it came out, and
start
I'm
counting down the fucking minutes. It's been 3 weeks, 25 days, 2 hours and 19 minutes.
All I'm trying to say is typically with games, especially over the last few years since I started like pretty much exclusively playing games on stream, it takes me a very, very, very long time to get through games, especially long games like this. Xenoblade X, I've been saying fuck it. It's pretty much been the only thing I've been streaming, and I've been playing it off stream a lot. And I'm about like 75 hours, I think, in the game. And I just got the Scale Flight module on stream, and that basically opened up the rest of the game for me. And I can just do anything whenever and wherever, and it's great. I just fly over, put all the data probes down. I make like over $100,000 every couple hours in game just due to auto generating revenue.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you have no idea what that means because you've never played the game, but like,
yeah,
I've been playing this game a shit ton. We talked about this a lot in the last episode of Pixel Pulse. So for those who are listening in on the VODs, suffice it to say, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, it came out. It was a very good game. I'm still not done with it. I'm only on chapter 9 of the story out of 12 from the base game. Not even sure how many new story chapters they added in the post game, but apparently there are some. I've been told. I don't even know how much, but it's a big game.
Yeah, and then is probably like the main reason why I haven't like played it, to be quite real. No, I don't have the time. Yeah, no, I've even picked up like what was it, Breath of the Wild?
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't beaten the Breath of the Wild yet. I've been playing it for like almost a straight year now.
Yeah.
Like that's just how little time I have to play. So like a game like that, oh my god.
To be fair, I am doing everything. You don't have to do nearly as much as I've been doing. You could probably get to chapter 9 in game it's rough estimate because you still have to do some side content to not be under leveled. That is a sick keyboard. Quinn has been working on his keyboard while we've been talking. He just showed it to me over the cam.
Yeah,
but
it's nice.
I've just been I've been playing a little too much. Basically, is all you need to know. Like, yeah, I have like 70 hours in, but you could probably get to this part of the game in like 40 hours, maybe. Maybe even less than that. The only reason I can't be definitive on that is because, like, there's very little in terms of like gatekeeping you from doing the story, but you're going to be under leveled if you don't do some side stuff. So, you're going to want to do at least a little bit here and there. And I've been doing it all. So it's kind of hard to really fully gauge on how much time it would take a casual player to get this far.
And that's exactly what I'd be, is super hyper, about as casual as you can fucking get.
Yeah.
So yeah, to like, and that's like my biggest problem, to be honest with you, is I like to get into games. So like when I can't with a game that I like, I get really, really annoyed with it.
If it's too long.
Yeah. It was mainly, what was it? Fucking the remake of Nier Replicant.
Yeah.
That is a long, long game. And I was trying to do that while I was third shift. No.
And you like Nier a lot, right? Isn't that one of your favorites?
Yeah, and I beat Replicant already. The problem with that was they added in a brand new, true, definitive ending so that you had to beat the game like 4 times to get. And I just didn't have that time, man. Like, I think Xenoblade's even longer than that game, to be honest with you.
Probably. Like I said, the game tracks your 100% completion. Xenoblade X does. Not all of them do, but X has been tracking it. I'm at like 37% completion worldwide. For at least the map survey. And that covers like things like finding chests out in the wild, beating some of the optional unique monsters that are out there, which are like wandering bosses more or less, that you don't have to fight. And then there's stuff like quests, of course. And yeah, I'm about at like 36%. I've got one of the 5 continents over 50%. I'm at like 55% in Primordia, but like other than that, like I've got a lot of game left and I'm like 70 hours in. So yeah, it'll probably be like a 200-300 hour experience for me to 100% this game.
Wow.
But again, I don't exactly recommend doing that. I just have a problem and am obsessed with this series. It has a lot of really good world building. I'll give it that.
All right, update. The keyboard sounds smooth.
Ooh, smooth.
Yep.
That was like the main reason you were doing it, right? It's a
little bit quieter, yeah. Because normally the ones... Okay, so for those who don't know keyboard building, I'm sorry, I'm going to go off on a random fucking tangent. Hopefully you don't kill me through the computer, Gabe. Oh my god, he's got a gun! just see, hold up a gun in the camera and it actually like fires through and hits me. I would be so mad. But so for switches, the ones that I've got, and I'm gonna hold it up so Gabe can see it. I've got like this super white switch. It's called a Glorious Panda, I think it is.
He's referring to his keyboard, not his Nintendo console.
Yeah, I'm talking about the switch in my keyboard for the keys. It's good. It's a little bit older. They are Agari's old switches from his old keyboard.
Yeah.
So I really liked them, so he let me use them. The ones that I've got now, though, are completely clear, so they're good for RGB because I am like RGB brain rotted. And then I'm also using like keycaps that have clear sides on them, so that it like shines all the way around. So yeah, I'm very happy with them. It is quieter, brighter, and nicer.
Bass.
But anyways, Xenoblade.
Yeah, I've been doing Xenoblade. I mean, there's not really much to say other than The big thing
You're
that
hooked?
yes, I'm hooked. But the big thing that I didn't mention last week on the last episode on Pixel Pulse that I didn't even realize was a thing in this remake is so Quinn, have you ever seen like gameplay of like the combat system in Xenoblade X?
Yes, I've watched your gameplay.
Okay. So it kind of plays a little bit like an MMO, right? How you have like a bunch of essentially they're called arts on a cooldown on the little arts palette at the bottom of the screen, and you have to wait for them to charge up before you can use them, and then you're doing auto attacks in between. So it very much plays like a MMO. You have a lot of gear that is important to be managing, and skills as well that you are swapping in and out and leveling into. One really, really big thing that they added to Xenoblade X Definitive Edition that's not in any other Xenoblade game, and I didn't even fully remember was in this game from the pre-release stuff until I actually played far enough in the game to when I unlocked it, is they added what they call the quick cooldown, which basically says if you, the gamer, are getting sick and tired of all that goddamn waiting for your arts to cool down, you can just expend something they call energy clips to just use your art. Went right away. And like at the start of the next battle, all your energy clips come back. So you can just, the more you play the game, the more you do the survey rate, the more energy clips you get. And so you can just basically spam your arts and don't have to worry at all about that cooldown system, which I think does a lot of legwork towards making the game not feel as repetitive or boring. Because that's a common complaint that I've heard with some people, is that they'd rather be like swinging the weapon themselves, they say. And, you know, a lot of the time you're just sitting there waiting for your arts to come back, or you're waiting for your auto attack to go off. But with the quick cooldown system, you just, whenever you want to use it, you just use it. And it's not even like a crippled version of the art. It's full power. You just use it. The only thing to keep in mind is you have a limited number of uses per battle with the quick cooldowns. But again, as you play the game more, you get more of them. And then, you know, at the start of the next fight, they all instantly recharge. So there's no waiting for it to come back, which is honestly, it fucking changes the game drastically. It's a completely different game now, as far as I'm concerned, with that in mind.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, they did that with I can't remember what it was. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was like Final Fantasy 13 when it came out. The big thing they had with the battle system there was they were trying to make it more like cinematic driven.
Yeah.
To where it was almost like an auto battle system the way they did it, but you had to select it the way that you were talking about there to like get it to where you could just go all every single fucking time and just, I don't know, have like their main abilities just auto set, ready, go.
Yeah.
And that like turned off a lot of people, to be honest with you. A lot of people, like you said, like to run around and click X.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for Xenoblade, I've gotten used to the way the combat system works, but a lot of where the balancing in the game comes from is from waiting on the arts. So just being able to use them whenever. I mean, a lot of people already considered Xenoblade X to be a very easy game because of how broken you can get if you know what you're doing with your build in that game. More so than other Xenoblade games, like you can really get like some really busted damage numbers. We're talking like billions with a B damage numbers if you really know what you're doing. And just now also being able to just use your arts whenever just is like crazy to me. I don't know. But I could gush about this game forever. You know, the graphics have been massively improved. I don't know how they managed to get such a huge leap from the Wii U to the Switch when really the Switch isn't that much more powerful of hardware. And I'm just thoroughly, I don't know, I'm thoroughly impressed with this remake. It's probably one of the best remakes I've ever played as far as like giving a reason for me. I'd say for anyone who played the game originally on Wii U, it gives a very good reason to play it again on Switch without just feeling like a cash grab remake, you know.
I mean, if you're gonna, it's good that they did that. You know, there's a lot of games and a lot of developers that they would rather just, pretty much just copy and paste a port for the new system and just let it go.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot. You see it a lot, a lot. I don't know how many times they've milked Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, but I will tell you what, to not see like they did that one remaster and it really wasn't that huge of a fucking difference. And like it makes me as an enjoyer of that series super jealous that Xenoblade cares about its game.
Yeah. Monolith fucking spoils us. The last like when Xenoblade X originally came out, it was a very mixed reception game because there were a lot of odd choices in the game. Like, for example, if you wanted to change your party members, right? One thing that they did entirely for the sake of immersion was you have this big hub city called NLA, New Los Angeles. You know, you're out stuck on an alien planet, and you got this new colony that's named after Los Angeles from back on Earth. And if you wanted to change your party members, you would have to physically go around New Los Angeles and find them and then ask them to join your party instead of having like a party menu. In Xenoblade XDE, they did the thing that everyone obviously wanted, which was just have a party menu at all moments, and then you can swap them out. And Xenoblade X, by the way, has a lot of characters. I think there's 28 characters. There's a lot of characters to switch between. I don't think it's that high. I think it's 22, but still.
Looks like you're hunting them down. Have fun.
Yeah, in the original version anyways. But in DE, you can just at any given moment swap them out, which is a fucking godsend. There were other weird choices with like when it came to quests, there was no visual representation of where your quest objective would be. So, like, for example, an item gathering quest that says, I need 15 fruits from this cave. You better fucking know where that cave is because there is no goddamn quest tracking. And it's certainly not going to tell you where specifically in the cave it is. Like, I think there was maybe some loose tracking that would point you in the right direction, but it would never tell you, like, exactly where to go. And then Xenoblade X does a great job at there are still some quests where like it doesn't tell you right where to go, but I think part of it is because it wants you to like look around and explore for yourself, and I accept that. But many of the item gathering quests and pretty much everything else that I could ask for it to tell me where it is told to me, and I'm just like, big thumbs up. But we've been yapping for a while now about games we've been playing. Do you have anything else you want to add before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, Quinn?
No. Apparently, I need to catch up on Xenoblade.
Yeah. There's a lot. What I will tell you is, if you for some reason ever do decide to give the series a shot, X is a great place to start because it's not at all really related to the other games. You can start with Xenoblade 1 if you want, but I'd say the best place to start right now would either be Xenoblade 2 or X, and 2 has some problems, so I would just say X. Start with X. That's my personal recommendation.
And maybe something I end up looking into in the long run.
Yeah. Maybe with these virtual card sharing, I can let you borrow the game. Coming on Switch too.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Do you wanna like just go head first and pull the lid off this fucking thing?
Oh boy. So as far as the direct goes, are we wanting to talk about the OG direct, or are we wanting to just hop over to to the most recent.
Let me get some bullet points for the first one going, because I didn't write down very many bullet points for that. But let me get some Nintendo Switch 1 Direct. I'm gonna pull this up, and then we can go down the list of things that was in this one.
Here, let's make life really, really easy.
I'm gonna go. You know what?
I am sending you a link right now. This is their website info for the Direct, and it has it all in bullet points.
Does it?
It goes over every single bit of the entire Direct in bullet points.
Okay, hang on.
If you scroll all the way to the bottom of that page,
okay,
it is nothing but the bullet points.
Okay, so they have like a headlines and then spotlight. I guess spotlights are like what they consider their big announcements, and then the headlines are just everything else that was in there. Funnily enough, Pokemon ZA was not grouped in with the headlines. I think that's funny. But okay, let's start with the headlines and then do the spotlight for the. So for those listening, we're talking about the Switch 1 Direct. This was a week before they announced Switch 2. They did a random ass Switch 1 Direct to be like, hey, retrospectively, I think it was, hey, we realize several of you won't be getting Switch 2s right away. So here's us letting you know you still have things to play on Switch 1. So one of the first things they revealed was AI, the Insomnium files. Have you ever played any of the series?
No.
No, I haven't either. I've heard it's good, but that's about all I've heard. It's that people who have played it like it. There's oh, go ahead.
You're in regards to the No Sleep game.
What's this called? Yeah, No Sleep
for Kaname Date.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like it's just gonna be like it's the same styling of what is that called? That stupid freaking anime game where it's like it's got that bear.
Danganronpa.
Yeah. It's that kind of styling. Where you have to like investigate and click on things that appear on the screen and
but I like Phoenix
clues. Right. Yeah, no, it's just like that too. Yeah. It's not my style. There was also a what was it? It was on the crap. We're thinking of the wrong games here. What was that stupid surgery game on the DS? And it was the same exact deal, but it was like
Simulator.
It's like Trauma Simulator, I think it was.
Something like the Trauma Center, I think.
Yeah, Trauma Center. That's what pops in my mind. That's the one that I played the crap out of. That game was hard.
Yeah, I love Phoenix Wright games. And there was also the Famicom Detective Club game that came out last year. And that was pretty good. I played a demo for that. And I was really considering playing it, but no one in my stream was interested. So I was just like, okay, I guess I won't. But I might play that for myself at some point. There was also... I guess we don't necessarily have to go over all of these because some of these I really have just like nothing to say. Let's talk about, have you ever played Patapon?
Yes, I have.
That was a PS, like a PlayStation franchise for the longest time, and now all of a sudden it came out on Switch. I had no idea what this was during the announcement for it, but then since I've learned, that's really big news actually, right there.
What a fun game that it's going to be. It's going to be such a fun game. I'm going to play the shit out of this game.
So it's a remake of 1 and 2, and then they're making a third new game. Is that correct?
I don't know about that. Hold up. Did they say that?
Maybe they didn't say the third new game. Okay, maybe I made that last part
You might be talking about what's it? You might be talking about Monument Valley.
Okay.
Monument Valley. They're remaking 1 and 2 for the Switch. Which is what they later on brought up, and then they're going to make a third game now. Okay.
Well then, yeah. Well, I mean, so what is Patapon exactly? Tell me about it.
It's a rhythm-based strategy battle simulator.
All right, base. That's all you needed to say. I'm sold.
So you build a specific army for the problem you've got at hand. So like if they've got tall people, you want to choose like troops with like spears and like ranged weaponry, blah 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 blah. But then they have different attacks. Most armies will have like 1 or 2 attacks based off of the beat you put in. So you input a beat, and then your army does what you told it to do. And you have to memorize different like beats and rhythms to be able to control your army.
Interesting.
It's pretty cool. It's really fun.
Was this a PSP game, or what was it originally?
I played it on, I think, the PSP.
Okay.
Matter of fact. Hold up. PSP. Patapon. I'm going to make sure I'm not lying to myself here. Yeah, I played it on the PSP. Yep. This is the exact game I played.
Based.
Very fun game. Highly recommend, especially if we're going to be talking like hardcore about Rhythm Heaven here in a minute. I mean, if you're into that kind of game, and if you're into like WarioWare, and like if you're into strategy at all, then yeah, try it.
All right, based. I mean, yeah, let's just. I mean, it's not quite in order, but let's touch on Rhythm Heaven Groove, the best game of the Direct, in my opinion. I was ecstatic to see this one. And I was living in a world where I thought we would never see Rhythm Heaven again. So just because like they made like 2 WarioWares in a row, and I was convinced that the WarioWare team would, because it's, if you didn't know, it's the same team for WarioWare as Rhythm Heaven. So I was convinced that they would flip flop back and forth. And from what I understood, Megamix didn't sell that well. So I kind of was under the impression that Rhythm Heaven was just gonna kind of fall to the wayside, and that team would just only be WarioWare.
Megamix was which system?
3DS. It was like the collection of all of like one and basically all the previous Rhythm Heaven games and like the best ofs from them.
Yeah.
It was the WarioWare Gold of the Rhythm Heaven games.
Was there one on the Wii U?
Rhythm Heaven? No.
Yeah, I was going to say the Wii U then is the only one that didn't have a Rhythm Heaven game past the
technically
past the
Wii U
DS.
didn't have WarioWare either. It had Game & Wario, which was like its own separate thing.
I was about to say it had that weird WarioWare weird thing.
Game & Wario, yeah. Which
I just started playing the WarioWare game for the freaking Game Boy Advance. I'm finally playing that.
Yeah, have you ever played it before?
No, and I was just looking through to play obscure games. I was like, what? So I clicked on it, and
on your Switch, I'm like halfway through. Or
yeah, on the Switch.
Yeah, I wouldn't be judging you if you played it on just regular emulator, but yeah, I like the original WarioWare. It's very good. I think some of the visuals, like with the pixel art, is kind of funnily like how bad it's aged, but otherwise it's it's a really good game. I like it.
Truthfully, my only complaint about WarioWare is that they spoiled the shit out of me in DIY, and then they took it all away.
I have not played
the music creator and all that. Like, I hate that they got rid of that. That was like I still get on it sometimes just to mess with the music maker on there.
I have only ever played. So as for WarioWare, I've only ever played the first one. I played Smooth Moves on Wii, and then I played WarioWare Gold on 3DS. And I think that's it. I've not played Touched or DIY.
Okay, you legitimately haven't played my 2 favorite ones.
Yeah, I know. I have. I think Touched. I have on Wii U Virtual Console. I bought it before the eShop went down with the intention to stream it one day because I kind of had no faith that Nintendo would ever make those available again. And I, for the record, have no qualms against emulation. My only thing with DS emulation is I don't like using my like mouse as its stylus, and so I feel like emulating a regular DS game would be more hassle than what it's worth. So I figured that at the time that would be probably the better way for me to try to experience that, especially because my 3DS captures broke, so I can't actually play on original hardware either.
I found the cheat code, by the way.
Yeah? I
just figured out the cheat code to emulating on DS.
Yeah?
Not that I do it.
No, we would never do such a thing.
I have a cheapo drawing pad. It's like a Waco drawing pad or whatever the heck it is.
Does it have a screen?
No. It is just a blank flat pad.
That would be my thing, is without the screen, like so many DS games require you to precisely touch a specific spot. So if I couldn't see where I was touching, I feel like I'd fail a lot.
So this one has the advantage. Most of them nowadays, I think, have the ability now to where you can turn it on to where if you're holding your stylus above that pad at all, it shows it on your computer screen where you're hovering over. So if you set that range to just the screen of your emulator for the bottom screen, you can see where your pen is at all times.
Probably,
and I mean, like it takes a little bit, yeah. But after you got used to it, I mean, I've been able to play. I played through Rhythm Heaven initially on there, and then I bought the actual game. But
I think I physically have Rhythm Heaven. Which one was that on DS?
I just have the OG.
Yeah,
just Rhythm
I think,
Heaven.
Yeah. Well,
I want to get the.
Is technically Game Boy Advance, but I digress.
I'm talking on the DS one. I want to get the European one. What was it called? It was like Rhythm Paradise or whatever they called it over there in Europe.
Is it just the same game but just a different name?
Yeah, it's just called Rhythm Paradise for some reason.
Base.
Yeah.
Because Heaven is too Christian for Europeans, of course. They don't want another crusade.
Okay, so let's point out.
Just ignore that one. Yeah, it's fine.
So the new Rhythm Heaven game were presented initially with the guys just running and jumping through hoops, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm going through the video now and I'm just like clicking through it. The second set of games, they all seem like really simple. Like just
a lot of Rhythm Heaven
click, right?
A lot of Rhythm Heaven
which
games
is good.
Tend to be pretty simple. I think the more complex ones can be. I mean, they'll definitely have some complex ones, and those will probably be more towards like the end of the game usually.
Do you think they're going to go back to OG to where it's just going to be one button Rhythm Heaven? Because that's what all of them look like. It all looks like it's just going to be the A button.
Well, it's Switch 1, and there was no mention of it during the Switch 2 Direct. Not to say there isn't any Switch 2 stuff features, but like, if you're concerned about stuff like the microphone or the camera coming into use, I don't think so, and I don't think it's going to be any motion control stuff either. I love Rhythm Heaven Fever on Wii. But I do not like the motion controls for that game. I have definitely come to a point in my life where I do not like. If the option to not use motion controls is there, I will choose to not use it. The only exception to that I make is Splatoon, and I feel like I'll probably just use mouse controls on Switch 2. Like, I do not want to use motion controls anymore with games. I'm over it.
So, is that including like stylus swiping control? Because I gotta say, some of my favorite Rhythm Heaven minigames included like swiping and like tapping and releasing.
I'm more open to the stylus stuff. If I'm not physically having to move my body, because here's the thing: the reason why I don't like motion controls is because, in my experience, 80% of the time I'll do an action that in my brain is me doing it right, but the game doesn't register it as the correct action for either I did it wrong or the game just didn't read the input wrong. I don't know. But regardless, with motion controls, it's just an imprecise thing where like I have several failures in my Rhythm Heaven Fever streams where like I felt like I did it right, but the game didn't give me the pass because the game arbitrarily didn't register it correctly, or maybe I moved a little weird. With the touchscreen stuff, I have less of that. I mean, the touchscreen on my DS is a little fucked up, but that's more a me thing than it is than the process of how it's registering. I could just get my touchscreen fixed potentially, but I think for me, I'd rather the touchscreen stuff, but also like for a console game like Rhythm Heaven, I mean, you can play it handheld too, but I want to stream it, right? And I can't stream it when it's handheld. So I hope that there's not really any touchscreen stuff.
Yeah.
But it might be a mixture.
God forbid you start it up and it tells you to undock it and then turn it sideways.
I don't think there's ever really been. I think there's like 1 or 2 Switch games that are like you can't play this docked. You have to play it touchscreen.
No, and all their mini games, it's in what do they call that, landscape mode. So
Yeah.
I'm excited personally for the little lockstep bugs.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, that looks visually satisfying, because that's why I really like lockstep, because it like made the weird pictures and that was really fun. So to
You
see
are
that
probably
kinda
the
come
only
back,
person I've ever heard say that you like Lockstep.
dude, it made that
Everyone
weird
else I
face.
know hates Lockstep.
Come on, hey. Come on, dude, come on. That's my vibe. I love that one, and then like probably my second favorite was it's probably a tie between the I really liked the ping pong.
I like
and then
I like Ringside.
Yep.
Yeah. I forget what does the reporter say? And then the guy just goes, yeah. Dabba dabba dabba, is that true? Yeah. Yeah, that one. I had to think about it. Rhythm Heaven is great though.
Yeah, I'm excited. 2026 for the release of it.
That is insane to me. How is it that we are getting games in 2026 on Switch One?
Switch.
Yeah. And do you think it's going to be like early 2026, or do you think it's going to be like summer?
Either way, regardless of what it is, what worries me about this is that this was probably supposed to come out way sooner and it just didn't. And things that tell me this is the fact that when they went over their big Switch 2 Direct and talked about remastering games and whatnot, and like having a better version of the game, this game was not noted as one of those games. And they announced this game before that.
Yeah.
We're only getting a Switch version of this game.
There's an asterisk there because there are other games that were not mentioned during that definitely are going to see Switch 2 improvements. There are some games on Switch 2 that again, sources for Switch 2 information are all over the place. So any of this could be just speculation that people have been passing off as reality. But from what I've been reading, there are some Switch 2 games that are or Switch 1 games that are getting free updates on Switch 2.
Yep.
That aren't paid. And it's just like, it's not like the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom stuff where it like significantly overhauls, but it does. But it just does like a little bit of performance stuff. So we might get some of that for Rhythm Heaven. For example, Xenoblade X in its code has a 60 FPS mode that is unused by the game. And that was also not mentioned as a Switch 2 game, or like one of the ones that can be expanded. Another game...
Yeah, they might have like optimizations for it then.
Yeah. Another game is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door from last year. That had 4K mode found in its code way back when that released. And once again, A Thousand Year Door is another one of those games that was not mentioned as a game that is getting a Switch 2 version. So I think there are several Switch 2 games. I think Mario Odyssey was also mentioned to be one where it's not getting a Switch 2 edition, but if you play it on a Switch 2, you will see some slight performance enhancements. So there are some games that are going to be like that. I mentioned this in our group chat, actually. Let me get back to that list. Hang on. Scarlet and Violet was another one. Hang on, let me get this list. Does this one actually physically have a list? No, it doesn't. Oh wait, here it is. And the source is Nintendo's official website, actually. So games include, and these are games that are getting like free updates on Switch 2. Let me just wait for this video to play. So ARMS, Captain Toad, Super Mario Odyssey, Mario 3D World, 51 Worldwide Classics, The Link's Awakening Remake, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Game Builder Garage, New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. That's a weird one because Mario Wonder isn't on this list. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Brain Age are all of the games that were mentioned for that. So those are all games that currently have been announced that are getting free Switch 2 updates. They aren't the paid upgrade shit. So my prediction is Rhythm Heaven and also Tomodachi will receive that. Or at the very least, they will run on Switch 2. As for the things that aren't backwards compatible regarding that list of things, it all comes down to third parties that haven't optimized their game or introduced an optimization patch yet to support Switch 2.
Yep. And even then, I'm going to just roundabout just assume that playing a original Switch game on a Switch 2 is going to just innately perform a little bit better because it's on a better console. I don't know if it's going to limit itself by doing that, but the console's going to run better. It's got a fan, for Christ's sake. It better run better, The
only thing is there is a technical limitation there where through having better hardware and having better load times, some games can become desynchronized with itself if it's running on better hardware than it was built around. So a lot of Switch 2 games, a lot of the Switch 2 running Switch 1, if it wasn't optimized for Switch 2, it may have to run the Switch 2 in basically a Switch 1 emulation mode, similar to how the Wii handles GameCube, where it just locks off part of its hardware in order to just run it as if it was a Switch 1.
Okay.
And they've already confirmed stuff like your Switch 1 Pro Controller, your Switch 1 Joy-Con, all of those can connect wirelessly to your Switch 2. So when it comes to things like IR games that use that dumb IR sensor, those are fully compatible. You just need to use a Switch 1 Joy-Con. And if you don't want to shell out for a Switch 2 Pro Controller, which doesn't look all that different, so I probably won't do it day one myself. You can continue using your Switch 2 Pro Controller, which is nice. Getting back to the Switch 1 Direct, though, is there anything else you wanted to touch on?
I'm just gonna make the Passover that they hyped up. Probably one of the more hyped up previews they had was Witchbrook. I noticed that they put a little bit of love into Witchbrook. It's the tab that says your magical journey awaits.
Okay, I see it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember
which
this
is supposed
one.
to be open world exploration, town builder, freaking. I will make the assumption that this game will last probably in popularity for a while. This is kind of like that. It gives me Stardew Valley vibes.
Let me take a look at this. Oh, yeah.
I could totally see it. I could totally see
and
this
the
game
pixel
getting
art's
big.
really nice on this game too. I like that.
Yes,
too.
That's a big deal. Because even though it's pixelated, it's not tied down to looking 2D.
And it doesn't look HD 2D either. I know several people who hate that art style. This just looks like
I hate that art style.
Yeah, this looks like a by the numbers traditional, really well done pixel art game, and it does look pretty good. Probably not a game I'll personally play, but honestly, my girlfriend Megan would probably love this game.
Then she's gonna drag you into it. It's a multiplayer. It's from two of the scenes that I'm just seeing alone. I just stopped it on two screenshots. I'm seeing 4+ players in one world, just chatting with each other. The screenshot I've got has 4 players talking.
Yeah,
with names above their heads.
Looking through the devs, apparently Chucklefish, the dev who worked on Witchbrook, also helped with Stardew Valley, so that checks out.
See, that's where I'm not surprised. Yep.
It's not the main developer of Stardew, but they helped with it. So
yeah, that somebody from Stardew kind of had a hand in it, obviously. So yeah, I can see that game being bigger than what they made it out to be. 100%. It's just going to be one of those games. Those simulation games are really, really popular.
What about what about Tamagotchi? That was how the guy in the direct pronounced it, by the way, and it pissed me off. He didn't say Tamagotchi. He said Tamagotchi
it's gonna be probably not my style of game. Sadly,
What do you mean? You don't want to brush the teeth of that guy, and you don't want to. You don't want
I just
to.
I'm in my age, and I hate saying it like that because I'm only like in my 30s now, but like early 30s at that. But like still in my age, like
You
I'm
don't
kind
want
of
to play
like starting
baby
to stray away.
games?
I'm starting to want to stray. That's not even a baby game. It's a task simulator game, and the task simulation games. I'm just
Yeah.
Like I had people in my streams try to get me into like the Power Wash simulator or like even like the TCG shop simulator. And I just can't do it. It's a task simulation game. If I wanted to do that, I'd just go to work, you know?
Yeah.
Seriously.
And then you get paid for it.
And get made money off of it, you know? So like when I want to play, I want to be told a story. I don't want to have to brush the fucking floor where the guest took a shit on the floor. Like I'm good.
Yeah.
So
The Monument Valley games also I wanted to add. That was the one where I thought that they were making there was Monument Valley 1, 2, and then they're making a third game. And yeah, I never heard of that series before, but it looks really fucking good.
What? You've never heard of Monument Valley?
No, I had never heard of it until that direct.
Yeah, it's a very zen like puzzle game. It's very, very good. I played through the first two already. And I'm gonna probably replay through them now that they're gonna have a better version of them. It's good. It's zen. It's very immersive.
When did it come out on Switch?
It's like one of those turn the lights out and sit down and just immerse yourself into the screen you're staring at.
Oh shit! They come out the day I move. I know what I'll be playing instead of packing.
Might I also point out that the Marvel game looks cool. I like side-scrolling beat 'em ups.
Cosmic Invasion, that one?
Yes. It looks cool. I love the side-scrolling beat 'em up like genre, and it's gonna tickle that. It's gonna tickle that.
Yeah, it looks like when they did the Marvel collection last year that had like that X-Men game and not just MVC2 but all that other stuff. They got inspired by like the X-Men game that's in there, and then they decided let's do a new Marvel sprite-based beat 'em up, and it looks pretty good.
A lot of retro titles are doing that, and I love it. I think the first one to start that trend was that stupid Power Rangers game that just came out. That side-scrolling Power Rangers game. It was like an arcade one. It was like within the last few years it came out, and it was amazing. Like I loved it. I played the shit out of it. A lot of people shit on it, but I loved it. And then Ninja Turtles did it. And they had that Ninja Turtles game that got like super duper popular. And it was another one of those side scroll beat 'em ups. I could totally see this one blowing up too. Mm-hmm. This one's going to be fun. It's going to be.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about the TMNT game.
15 playable characters. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. I had heard a lot of good things about that TMNT game from a few years back.
It was fun.
Wasn't there was like a DuckTales thing, right? Or was it the TMNT thing where they made like a physical NES cartridge as well?
Was it the DuckTales? Hold up.
What was that? There was something where some game company made like an actual physical NES cartridge that you could use on an NES, but then it led to some problems where like the power output on the cartridge was too high, so then it would like fry your NES if you actually used it on original hardware. I don't remember what game this was.
Yeah,
or if I dreamt this up.
I think it was DuckTales.
Was it?
Yes. I'm double checking myself. This one looks new.
DuckTales 2?
Now you got both of us just sitting here for this game.
I don't know what game this was. I can't find it,
man.
though.
I will have to look into that.
Yeah, I'll have to do a little bit more research into that one. But
if so, that's funny. Frying somebody's Super Nintendo.
Before we go on to Switch 2 stuff, let's touch on a couple more things Switch 1 related, and then we'll move on. Firstly, Pokemon ZA. They showed it on Switch 1. What are you thinking about this game right now?
I wish they wouldn't have told me what the ZA meant.
What does it mean? Just the ranking thing?
That is going to be the player rank. You're going to go Z through A being the highest rank. So my biggest complaint with Legends Arceus, right?
Yeah.
My biggest complaint was the level system. There was like they locked off areas unless you were a certain like rank. And you could only do ranks by doing like quests and like doing all this monotonous crap. I just wanted to get to the point where I fought the new legendary. Pretty much like that's how my brain was going. And like it was a grind a lot of the times. You had to catch like certain Pokemon over and over, catch them certain ways. It's cool. I love the immersion of that. There's so much to do because of that, but it does bog the game down a little bit. And it looks like this one's going to have 26 levels of bog down. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know how they're going to do it. People are thinking there's going to be like some kind of reward system for that ranking system. Like there was before, but like way more intuitive. Like depending on
is there going to be
like,
multiplayer in this one?
I don't know
because there wasn't any multiplayer in Arceus, really, right? I mean, there was like trading. I think.
Surprised. I don't know.
But,
I am not seeing news on that.
All I'll say is, I guess getting ahead of myself a little bit. I was not impressed with the way that this game looked on Switch 1. On Switch 2, the game looks fine enough that I'm willing to be like, okay. And the fact that it seems like it's going to be releasing day and date with the Switch 1 version is good for the Switch 2 edition of the game. Did you see that as well?
Yeah. I will point out that there is a screenshot that I just got that does explain some woman named Yvonne that says, when I reach rank A, I'm going to have Lumoy's City hold a marathon. So they're going to hold a marathon for us.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Like what kind of a marathon? Like a gas station? Or we gotta start running?
Well, yeah. Apparently that's just what I'm seeing on the screenshot I've got. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a solid game. I don't like the fact that they're changing up the combat system again. That rubs me the wrong way a little bit.
It's Xenoblade this time. I like it.
I mean, it's more tactical, and it's gonna be a nice take on the battle system.
Yeah. No, for me, I'm like, I don't know. For many years, I felt like people were complaining that the Pokemon games were stagnating because it was the same game every year, right? Now that was like the common complaint that I heard, and now it's that every game is too different from one another. So I don't know, but
my
for me,
complaint has never been that it's stagnated, though. In my own fairness,
yeah.
I have liked the battle system, and I the improvements that they've made throughout the years on the battle system, and the fact that they're going back to Mega Evolution. I wish it was the old battle system back when we had Mega Evolution. That battle system would have been great for it. And now I have to learn a new battle system for Mega Evolution. It's going to be different. I don't know. I'm getting old.
I will say that Arceus was my favorite Pokemon. Like, I'm not the biggest Pokemon guy as is, but I would say that Legends Arceus is probably my favorite. And so, like, fair. I'm excited for this game, and the Switch 2 edition is probably what I'm going to end up going with. Even if I don't have a Switch 2 by then, I'll just wait to play it until I get a Switch 2, because that the improvements look good enough to the point where I'm no longer like upset with the visuals, and I think it looked fine on Switch 2.
Yeah, it's going to run. This is, I think, going to be where we're going to start seeing 3D Pokemon actually start running good,
which is good.
Thankfully,
yeah.
The first thing I will test when I get the Switch 2, I'll boot the Switch 2 up and everything, get all my data transferred over to it, get all my saves on there. The first thing I'm going to do is boot up Scarlet and Violet and go over to that windmill. That's gonna be. I'm gonna go over that windmill, and we'll see how that windmill's spinning. That'll be my initial gauge.
Assuming that the Switch 2 version will have the update right away, right?
Yeah,
it might take some time. I don't know.
We'll see if we can day one a windmill patch.
Before we move on to Switch 2, one and a half more things. One, Tomodachi Life. Do you have any opinion on this game? I know Austin probably lost his fucking marbles at this, but do you have any opinion on Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream?
I've never played it.
Oh yeah,
I have no idea what the series. I have no idea what I'm talking the series. I have no idea what it's about. I don't know what you do in it, so I have no idea.
It's a silly little game where you make Miis, and you can make your Miis be anyone you want. You know, you can make them your friends, your family. You can make it be Dwayne Johnson. You can make it be fucking Randy from South Park, whoever you want. You know, throw them in there, and then they live their life, and then they interact with the other character, and it's just silly. It's like The Sims, but even less control upon what they're doing, and you just kind of sit there and watch them, which sounds boring. It kind of is. It gets old pretty quickly. But
was that like a sandbox fish tank style game?
Sort of. Like you can like buy them things and then like give them like outfits and then like watch them interact with each other. One key, like, I guess, intriguing element to the game is that you give them like an AI voice, like not like AI in the sense of like it sounds like a real person, but it sounds like, "Hello, this is me. I am robot. Hello." And it sounds like just like super like robotic, like not a real voice, but you can get some
I
really
heard that on the
you get some really weird sounding voices out of the original Tomodachi Life's text to speech thing that they do. And so that's a funny part of the game as well. So I don't know. For me, I'm not like losing my mind over this. People who love Tomodachi Life fucking love this series.
Agari is losing his mind.
Yeah. For me, I run out of things to do in the game within like a couple hours, and then I'm like, okay, I'm glad I spent money on this. But it's about what you make out of it, right? So
yeah, and we haven't said it yet. I'm assuming this is going to be part of your other half, and if it's not, then allow me to add on another 0.5 to the things you need to add before we get to Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
My most exciting thing, surprisingly, wasn't Pokemon. I got more excited about the grand trip to Viros that we're going to be experiencing here soon.
Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about Metroid Prime 4 with Switch 2 stuff.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Prime 4.
My body's ready.
I think it looks. Honestly, I couldn't immediately tell the difference when it was on Switch 2, but then like side by side comparisons, I'm like, oh.
We have the Force now, boys.
Yeah. Are you?
We have the Force now, boys.
Let me ask you this.
How many more things can we give Samus? I don't know. Let's let her move stuff with her mind now.
I have something I need to ask you, Quinn. Are you a 4K boyo or a 120 FPS boyo?
I'm a 120.
Yeah. Do you have a 4K screen?
No.
Well, that would do it then.
Yeah, I've always been more about stability than I have about quality.
Resolution, yeah. The fact that the Switch 2 can even do one or both of those is insane to me, though. Like we'll get into that. I guess right now. Fine, whatever. We're here.
It'll make my favorite reason why they're making it being able to switch between 4K and the 1080. Mm-hmm. The best reason why I'm happy that they're allowing us to swap and they're not locking games down to just 4K only for no dumb reason is it's going to make it really, really easy for capturing.
Yeah, because we can only stream at 1080. Twitch does not allow us to do 4K streaming unless you're partnered.
You can still, the only one that I know of that can do what we're implying that we could do if it was like forced 4K on the system, the Elgato 4K capture card they got can descale it once it's captured it. So even if it's like 4K native, you can put it back down and into your stream to where it doesn't look like choppy and weird.
Well, my AverMedia can do that.
Okay, mine cannot. Mine can't.
Which one
Mine
do
is
you
just
have?
a block. I've got the Razer something. It is. I have it right here. I can just flip it over. The Razer Ripsaw HD,
Hmm. I don't know
which
the
is
exact
probably
model I have, but
it's just plug and play. It is like it just does everything automatically for me.
I think I have. Hang on, AverMedia. It's like the Live Gamer. Dumb name. Live Gamer. Live Gamer Ultra 2.1 capture card. And it supports up to 3440 by 1440 or
4K.
2560 by 1080. So you have 4K or 2K. It supports which is it's nice, it's feature proof for me, but again, Twitch doesn't really support 4K, so like I can't stream at 4K. YouTube does, but you know, I'm more care about Twitch personally.
Back on the Metroid Prime though.
Yeah.
Best feature that I have seen that they've implemented now is the mouse control.
Yeah, so you're on board with mouse controls then?
For this game, absolutely. Any game that is going to have to do with like aiming, I will keep the left controller in my hand normally and control it normally with the stick.
Mm-hmm.
But my right controller 100% will be in mouse mode for this game.
Did you hear that for Prime 4 specifically, the mouse controls are swapping on the fly? You don't have to go into a menu to do it.
Yep, you just drop it down on the board.
You just put it on a surface, and then it begins mouse mode. And then if you pick it up, then it's a regular controller. So if you need to like do firm adjustments with the stick, you can do that. If for some reason that's how you need to play, I don't ever see myself doing that. But the only thing for me is like I do mostly play my games at a desk, but several people are going to be playing this from a couch, and I'm wondering how that's going to work for them.
I bet you could play it on your lap. I bet you I could put it on my leg and play it.
I'm sure you can, but how accurate is it really? Because have you ever tried using a mouse on your leg? I mean, it works enough, but like sometimes it loses its place.
Knowing how Nintendo is, I would not be surprised if they made like a lap board that you
like
could
an
buy.
Accessory for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that just sits on your lap, and you can just use the mouse features like that. It's
just
like a
get
mouse
one of those
board top.
Yeah, just get one of those like couch TV trays that goes over your lap, and then that'll do.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's got like a special dock for the camera or some dumb shit.
Yeah.
So I think we've made the transition to the Switch 2 now.
Let's start talking about Switch 2. Oh boy, we have a lot to talk about with this thing. Do you have the link to this one as well?
Yes, I do. Allow me to. It's legitimately just the feature page that they have for it, but it goes over everything of the Switch 2. So
okay.
Like top down, it just goes through everything. Like I do have my gripes, and don't make me out to be a Debbie Downer, everybody, but I think there's more good than bad with the Switch 2. I think there's way more good than bad.
I agree. My biggest complaints,
and I think the bad, I can get over it, you know.
I do want to say first and foremost, during my reaction, I called that like the perfect reveal. And I agree that the reveal, the direct itself was fantastic, but Nintendo very intentionally omitted a lot of shit. And so like off the heels of the direct, I was feeling great. And then once I got the other information that they omitted from the direct, that's when my problems started coming up with this system. The price for the system itself at $450, I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm not that upset about. That's a little more than I was expecting, but I think $450, if it stays at that price, we'll get into that in a bit. I think $450 USD is reasonable enough, considering it can do 4K HDR and 120. Like that's above what I was expecting. So the games themselves being the price they are is what's getting me.
As far as cost of system goes, my brain, and it's not fair of me to think this way, but it has to, because that's just how the market's got me thinking. Is you have to think about the competitive alternate sources, right? So now you're thinking of all the handheld gaming, right?
Yeah.
The handheld gaming market has gotten crazy. A Stream Deck, right? What's the cost of a Stream Deck? Like the good one, the Steam Deck, sorry.
So are you
Stream Deck's
talking about the base model Steam Deck is $400?
Yep. So comparing it to that, the only thing that I would say that the Switch 2 needs to do to just be similar to that they didn't do with the original Switch was just give us like the ability to like browse online.
Okay.
Give us an online browser.
So here's the prices of the 3 different
Please.
Steam Decks. There's $399 for the 256 gigabyte LCD screen. It's at 1280 by 800 resolution. So already the Switch 2 has a higher resolution screen than this.
Yep.
It has Wi-Fi 5. Switch 2 has Wi-Fi 6. If you care about that. Steam Deck has 60 Hz refresh rate. Switch 2 is 120. But the battery life.
That 120 is the 120 docked or is that undocked?
That's undocked.
Okay.
It can do 120 undocked as well, but the screen itself on the Switch is what I'm referring to, and that's 120 hertz. The battery life, the Steam Deck does have a better estimate on the battery life, I will say, for the base one. 2 to 8 hours on the Steam Deck, whereas Nintendo's estimates was 2 to 6, which matches it up with the Gen 1 Switch ones. If you may recall, there was a silent release of a better battery Switch 1. We may see something like that as well. It was released at the same price, so who knows? And that significantly improved the battery life to be about on par with this. 450 watt power supply, carrying case, Steam profile bundle. Okay, that's everything that comes with the base Steam Deck. Then for your second model Steam Deck, you have at $549 USD, 512 gigabyte OLED, same resolution, 7.4 inch diagonal display size. So it's a little bit bigger compared to their 7 inch originally. 90 hertz refresh rate. Wi-Fi 6, 50 watt battery with 3 to 12 battery life, and same other things. And then the final size you can get is for $649, 1 terabyte OLED. Still, once again, at 1280 by 800 resolution, but it does come with an OLED screen and premium anti-glare etched glass. Same size screen at 7.4 inch, 90 hertz, Wi-Fi 6, 50 watt battery life for 3 to 12 hours, and the same other things as well. It also comes with a startup movie and keyboard theme. Wow. So those are your 3 model Steam Decks compared to the Switch 2, which would be a 1080p screen, LCD. What do you have the screen size in front of you? Is it on this website? Do you see?
That was like 17.5. Give me a second.
17.5 inch? Really? That big?
No, hold on.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking for the screen size here. Compare, just have all the facts out there.
Screen size. Here we go. It's going to be 8.
8 inch. So a little bit bigger. 8 inch screen size, 120 hertz, Wi-Fi 6, and then, like I said, 2 to 6 hours was Nintendo's current estimates for the battery. And as Steam also clarifies, when it comes to battery life, it depends on what you're playing. You know, playing fucking, Fantasy Life is going to get you way more hours than something like Tears of the Kingdom or, Red Dead Redemption 2 or something like that.
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk will probably be at the low end of that battery life.
Which is coming to Switch.
Which is insane
Switch
that it
2?
is. Yeah, it's coming to Switch 2.
Yeah.
It'll
Wild.
probably run at a bit more of a gimped version, but I think it should be stated that the Switch 2 is a more powerful system than the base Steam Deck. So I hear you out when you say, like, I've heard Mel say before, not to call him out necessarily, that he would be uninterested in the Switch 2 if it was priced over $400 and he would rather get a Steam Deck. I invite the comparison. I think it's worth considering that as well, but it should be stated that for what you're getting out of the Switch 2, I don't think it's entirely on the hardware level. I don't think it's entirely marked up in price for the sake of being marked up in price. I think this is probably the best they could have done with what they have. And feel free to disagree or offer a counter, Doot, if you have one, Quinn. But
no, I think for what they've got, the price point is worth what they're offering us as far as the content of the system.
yeah,
But I do have the gripe always that like the game pool for a system of that cost, and then the cost of the games in that game pool for the system of that cost the value is way worse with the Switch compared to the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck, you have so many games that you could play on the Steam Deck and then emulate games and do all kinds of stuff and access the internet and do all this. And the Switch can't do any of that. And then on top of that, it costs more. Like, I mean, cool. We get to play Nintendo games. Sick. Cool. Like,
what I will
that's
say
the
is
point of the
does,
system. That's the point of it, you know?
Yeah. It does have access to the vast majority of Switch One library, which I will support. But I mean, you make a valid point as well, because like when it comes to games available on Steam versus games available on Switch, I'd rather play the Steam versions of like 99.99% of those games. Like I do not really buy third party on Switch very often. And for things that I do, it's stuff like Balatro, where it's like pretty inconsequential wherever I play it. But yeah, I mean, if you don't like Nintendo games and you're considering buying a Switch 2, to me, that's just a big question mark,
Yeah, why are you buying it?
Yeah, definitely get a Steam Deck if that's your take, is if you don't like Mario, you don't like Zelda,
you don't feel like punching snow with Donkey Kong.
Yeah, if you're not interested in first party Nintendo, then absolutely, there's no question in my brain, get a Steam Deck over a Switch or a Switch 2. But that said, if you're considering, okay, I want to switch to, I don't have a Steam Deck, I'm interested in Nintendo games, and I'm interested in getting some of these games I have on Steam portably, that's when I'm like, okay, this is where the inviting of the comparisons belongs.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see more things get revealed about the Switch that makes it more comparable to PC. Because I'm going to be the guy to point this out. The obvious point out thing here, by the way. Obvious thing. But the Switch 2 is kind of leaning towards like PC features.
Yeah, with the mouse controls.
As its like primary features. Like as a, not, it's really a secondary feature, but I mean, like, some of the games are going to play better because of this, which makes me really hopeful. It makes me hopeful that they might pivot into some crazy shit here in the future,
Now, do you think that there's going to be problems with the idea of a Joy-Con being the mouse? Like, it's not nearly, I don't know if you've ever held a Joy-Con like a mouse before. I've done it a little bit. It's not super uncomfortable if you just, if you're using the ZL button as your click button. But it's not as comfortable as using a mouse. So my question is, do you think they will just allow you to plug in a USB mouse to the Switch, like on the dock?
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they released their own. I wouldn't be surprised if they released their own like Bluetooth version.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. And then again, let's talk about the official licensed Nintendo lap.
Not officially announced, but we're gonna say that it is anyways.
Yeah, dude, you could plug a USB-C port into the side of it and plug it into your wall, and then it would just charge your stuff while it was sitting on the board. That'd be crazy. Nintendo's going to steal this. Nintendo's going to steal this idea. No, I forgot they do that weird thing where if you make it a really cool idea, they actually don't do it.
Oh, yeah.
No, seriously. Like, that's why we didn't get the flying version of an Evolution. That's just that's the reason why.
Yeah.
Nintendo does it.
Nintendo hates you.
Well, they
You
apparently they don't.
specifically.
They hate you so much they want you to stare at yourself. So let's talk about the first feature I want to talk about, which
Okay.
is the camera.
Oh boy. Did you see that Hori announced a piranha plant version of that camera?
Yes.
I
looks
actually
cool.
kind of want it. I kind of want it. I'm not
It
gonna
looks
lie.
cool.
I'm not gonna lie. Do you think the Switch 2 camera will be like good? Like quality wise? Like, can I use it on my PC? Will it be comparable to my Logitech?
It has to be good. Are you seeing? Hold up. Scroll. Like I'm scrolled down pretty far to where it says like it's talking about game chat now, where it says C button has entered the chat on their page.
Okay.
But like if you're looking at that, the first page that shows the game chat at the bottom, where it shows everybody's pictures, the quality of that looks good.
Yeah.
Their pictures look crazy. That's why I'm like annoyed, because like I said, I use like NVIDIA, and it looks a little choppier than that, and that's just a camera plugged into a Switch.
Did you watch the direct, or did you just see highlights of the announcements?
I watched it.
Did you see the frame rate of the cameras themselves and the game footage?
If I did, I was like half asleep for it.
So
I'm not lying to you.
I will say, when it comes to the game chat feature and like doing like the screen sharing, the frame rate is fucking atrocious. It gives me a headache. It's like 1 FPS. I'm not even joking. The cameras, the frame rates are okay, but the resolution of the image, I think, on this reference image that they have here, I'll try to throw it on stream for those watching. But for this reference image, I feel like it's a little higher resolution than what it really is. Give me a second here.
Are you showing the picture of the TV?
Yeah.
That shows all 4 of them down there.
It's not working. Okay, let's save it as a PNG then. AVIF doesn't work.
Well, either way, if they don't see it, I'm like, that looks HD, like hardcore HD, like. And on top of that, that is using background suppression. Like, it is canceling the background, and like you could see no like wiggly lines on the sides of their bodies.
Yeah,
like that's the biggest complaint
aliasing.
I have. Yeah, that's what that is. That's the word. Yep.
Quinn and I were talking about this before we went live, and Quinn was like, "I'm salty if this is as good as it is." Like, he was convinced that Nintendo was lying to us with the quality of this, and I think during the direct we actually did get to see it in motion. I think this image I have pulled up on stream right now, I think this is Photoshop a little bit, but I think the actual quality we did see during the direct. And what I will say is, the technology to crop out your background without needing a green screen has been around for a little bit. Discord uses it, but also NVIDIA, as Quinn has mentioned to me, is what he uses, right?
Yeah. So it's they've incorporated this feature into like even OBS. You can just get it on OBS without even having to like download anything.
I didn't know that.
It's just the background.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's just background removal.
And so with the Switch 1, they partnered with NVIDIA to produce like a custom chip for it. And then for Switch 2, like NVIDIA was like all on board. Like NVIDIA went all in from what I hear. Like I think the Switch 1 chip was primarily based on like their Tegra something or other chip. I don't know all the technical terms, but for the Switch 2, NVIDIA did a completely custom chip, and it wouldn't surprise me if, regarding these cameras, NVIDIA lent some technical know-how Nintendo's way to also support the camera itself. I don't know if that's the case, but regardless, I do want to say I like that the camera itself isn't baked into the system, because then that would have been $50 more on the cost of the system. If you don't give a shit about the game chat feature, just don't buy the camera. And I think that's the way it should always be.
And it makes me curious to know, is it going to like, does it take this specific camera? Because the one thing that you pointed out,
it's USB-C, it looks like.
Yep.
Anything USB-C that's camera.
So NVIDIA's capture software for their background cancellation, and most of background cancellation softwares that I've seen on like even like Microsoft like Office when you're like in a chat with somebody and you're doing it. The problem that they've got is if there's multiple people there, it has a problem like including everybody. Usually it includes just the central focus person. So what I'm seeing is when you're doing like 4-player games with 4 people in the room, it seems to be able to detect every singular person, put each of their faces in a bubble, and then cancel out the area around the faces still. That's 4 things at once.
I think if you're referring specifically to the Mario Party gameplay when they were doing the camera stuff, I think what the instance there was that the 4 separate people were in 4 different rooms online. Yes. I don't think they were in the same room. I could be wrong.
That was about to blow my mind. I'm like, that is crazy if they were able to pull that off with that with just a single camera. So that means if that's the case and that's the way that was meant to be taken, can we just plug in any USB camera?
I would imagine as long as it's USB-C, because it as we see in the reference image here, the camera just plugs in through the top USB-C port. Yep. Or I'm sure it could do the bottom one too for some reason if you really wanted it to. But
if you're a crazy person.
Yeah, if you don't want to dock your Switch.
Wire.
Yeah. I would have to imagine it's any USB-C, especially because Hori is not Nintendo. Hori is a third party, like they get their products licensed through Nintendo, but like anything that they produce is not technically a Nintendo product.
So what I'm hearing is us cool people with cameras already don't have to worry about buying this camera.
If it's USB-C. Yeah. Does it plug in through USB-C? Because mine's USB Type A.
Mine is C, yeah.
Okay. Well, then there you go.
I have a C. It has 2 cables. It has a C to A, and then it's got a C to C cable.
Okay. Yeah,
well, at least my other Razer C to C cable works with it. So.
I have a Logitech C930 or something like that, and it only has 1 cable, and it's just hard plugged in on one side, and then on the other side it's USB Type A. So.
Oh shit.
Okay. So I'd probably have to get this, but honestly, I would probably be down for.
Did they ever say the cost of it?
50, I think, or 40, 45. Hang on.
Oh, that's not horrible at all. That's not horrible.
I'm looking at the page for the camera itself right now. You may be able to use a USB-C camera accessory you already own. However, not all cameras may work as intended. You can easily check compatibility using the Test USB Camera feature located in the Nintendo Switch 2 system settings, officially from their website.
Not only that, but in that screenshot, you can still see at the very bottom, it even says test input devices. So it makes me wonder how many things you could plug into this to do things.
Yeah.
That makes me wonder, because that you were bringing up keyboard and mouse. That might be that might be the test input devices I'm looking at.
Maybe.
I don't see a spot for USB mouse, but I see a spot for USB keyboard settings.
Yeah. Specifically, this does mention that you have to plug the camera into the top one. It doesn't work on the bottom one. It says whether in tabletop mode or handheld mode, simply plug this into the USB-C port on the top of the system. So there you go. You can't do the bottom one just to be a cheeky bitch.
My wife brought me in a mimosa.
Yo.
Yeah, it's mimosa time. I guess that feature is out of the way. We've already talked about the mouse.
The official price MSRP is $49.99.
That is not bad. I would probably just get that. Yeah. There's no reason not to, right?
I mean, budgeting, but eventually I'll probably get one. I think when it comes to game chat, let's talk about that for a little bit. When it comes to the game chat itself, I think it's very smart that Nintendo is trying to push the Switch 2 as like a social system. Because, a lot of people take their Switch 1s wherever they go. I mean, not everyone. I say a lot of people, not really a lot of people, but some people do. And I'm one of them. And it would be nice to just be able to just like, again, if you don't have a capture card, which most people aren't going to be like you and me, Quinn, and have a capture card. So just the ability to share your gameplay with your friends while you're just driving around in Mario Kart, or they even showed you can be playing completely separate games and just be hanging out in a group call with your friends. I feel like 7 years ago when the Switch 1 came out, that was a bigger deal. But like people, I do distinctly remember people used to make a really big stink that like you couldn't do voice chat directly on Switch 1 and that you had to use like the mobile app. Now everyone just uses Discord anyways, so I don't really know how useful this will be. But just the idea of being able to share your gameplay if you don't have a capture card, to me, sounds like a very valuable service. And the fact that it's coming as part of our NSO subscriptions, or for the first year of the system coming free, is pretty nice, actually. I'm into it.
I love that they've done this. This was a feature that I was like, when they brought up what that C button was for, and they finally brought up the function of it, I was like, the first thing I said was, finally, right?
Yeah.
But then I always get back. I hate like dragging myself into like any kind of negative space, right? Regarding like what could be, what should be, blah 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 blah. This feature in itself is great, but in my brain, I'm going, okay, so my biggest like gripe of the Switch was that there was no social function to it. Like I remember even like obscure things, like I think it was the 3DS had a Facebook on it or some shit, or was like the DSi. You could access Facebook. There was a Facebook app you could do.
You could access Twitter on the Switch before they axed it through posting screenshots.
And Twitch. They axed Twitch too. But my biggest gripe right now with the Switch 2 in hearing about its new features and whatnot is always what could have been. So like my big takeaway with them was they need to catch up, right? If there's no more console war, all the consoles have their own unique features now that make them kind of just, they're going to stay around. You know, they're not like Xbox not going to just suddenly kill PlayStation off, you know. They aren't going to Sega Genesis these guys. You know, like, sorry, not Sega Genesis, just Sega these guys. Genesis.
Nintendo
anyway.
Genesis with Genesis.
Well, wow. I'm going to throw up now. But like the simple things, like I know for a fact on both the PS5 and on the Xbox Series X, that you can access Twitch, you can access Discord, you can access a browser, so you can go online and access anything at all. You could just access your Facebook if you want to, like seriously. And Nintendo's not doing any of that. And then they like offer a game chat. Well, if you get on the Xbox Series X right now and hop into game chat, you know who that is? It's Discord. And it has its own poll tab on the side where you can access Discord. And if you plug in a camera, you can do exactly what the Switch is going to be doing on your Xbox Series X. And you can pull up everybody's screens at the bottom of your screen. And then you could also, on top of that, immediately turn around and just click a button and stream to Twitch and start streaming on Twitch. Nintendo is so far behind that hearing about these new features, I'm just like, I've had this feature on everything else, you know? So it's cool that they're doing it. I'm super happy that they're doing it. But again, my the first thing I screamed, and I screamed it, was finally, you know? Seriously. Like we were in the trenches, bud. We were playing games we were talking on Discord, playing a system like that's crazy. I was in so many phone calls playing freaking random games with randoms on Discord, like doing what was it, Mario Party, Jamboree. That it was ridiculous, and this feature would have changed all of that. This feature would have made that easier, and them having Discord would have made it easier. You know.
Here's a question I've got for you. When it comes to the camera, I got two separate thoughts here. I'm going to start with the camera one and see if I can remember to come back for the second one. When it comes to the camera and Mario Party, like Jamboree specifically, How excited are you for like the mini games, and how reliable do you think the camera tech is going to be for the mini games that physically require you to move, a la Xbox Connect? Do you think we've evolved the technology far enough to make this work, or is it going to be just as bad?
Well, I mean, this always makes me think back to the time where the DS had the microphone on it, and those Mario Party games had to utilize the microphone.
Yeah.
And how ridiculous and crazy. So even if the camera doesn't work, I could see it being silly enough that you'll still have fun doing it.
Yeah.
You know, it'll still be a funny time to use it.
Yeah.
It'll still be and the fact that it's like optional is so much better. Like you don't have to do it. You don't have to like sit through this stupid ass mini game that doesn't work half the time, you know? But I don't think they would put something out anymore that wouldn't work half the time. I'm pretty sure it'll be pretty solid. If they're backing it that hard and they're like, oh, we're adding in whole mini games for this feature, hopefully it works. You know, if it doesn't, I'll get a laugh either way.
The other thing that I was going to mention is, do you think that Nintendo, and might I clarify, they did immediately upon doing all this talk of the game chat, they immediately followed it up with, by the way, parental controls still work on Switch 2. Do you think that Switch 2 will allow us to do voice chat and camera with randos?
If they do, I am not sorry to like the first like 20 fucking kids that get that little circle. So they beat me in fucking Mario Party and they get that little circle above my character all pouty and shit, and all they see is a middle finger. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to those kids.
I don't know if if Nintendo will allow us to voice chat with randos though, even with parental controls,
because that could get crazy. That could get way crazier than a middle finger.
Yes. Oh boy. Don't remind me of shit like Snap. What was it, like Swap Note? I think on 3DS.
Dude.
People were doing things they absolutely should not have been doing. That's what I'll say on that regard. But I mean, if you're friends with them, obviously, it'll work.
It'll work.
My thing is like games like Splatoon greatly benefit from voice chat, and
oh my god,
I don't think kids are going to be able to call each other bitches over the rando calls, but there's got to be at least some way to be able to communicate with your teammates better in Splatoon whenever that comes to Switch 2.
How is the VTubing community going to handle this?
I said that same thing during the live direct. I was like, I don't care, because like I've shown my face on camera before. I do VTubing now. Like I don't care personally, but like there's going to be so many VTubers who are never going to be able to play these games. Or like maybe they buy it for themselves and then they accidentally turn on the camera.
They could put like a mask on. They could play it with a mask, maybe.
But then would some of the face tracking technology stop working?
That's probably it does. So good reference, and you'll see it. I'm holding up this ear. So this is like a Razer. This was made by Razer, and it's like this little ear that clips onto any Razer headset.
It's a little cat ear.
It does not show up on the background removal. It clips that part off. So I'm assuming a mask would get clipped off. I'm assuming.
Yeah, VTubers are going to have to make a choice to either show their face if they want to play these games or just never use this feature. And I mean, probably
at least
for the most
Mario
part,
Party, you could turn that feature off.
But then you can't. Feature. But then you can't play all those new mini games because there's specific mini games that are built around using your body, like the fucking Kinect.
Yep.
Which I don't.
Hilarious.
I don't know how we came back to Kinect technology after all this time,
dude,
but you know what? We're here.
Am I the only person that enjoyed the fuck out of the Kinect? I enjoyed that. Every single game on the Kinect, I played the crap out of.
Similar issues to motion controls. I had a lot of false readings on the Kinect. I didn't play a lot of Kinect, truth be told, but I played a fair share of games, and I don't want to use my whole body. Like it's silly.
When I was a kid,
it's silly. If I can do it from my chair, then fine. If I can do like a little arm waving mini game from my chair, then fine. But if I gotta stand up and do some fucking workouts, then I'll play Ring Fit Adventure. God damn it!
Okay, old man. But I'm telling you what, right now, as a kid, when I was a kid and Connect Adventures came out, that was the most fun game ever. When I was a kid and the Wii came out, that was the most fun. I played every single game that had to do with me moving around.
I liked it as a kid, but again, just like these days, maybe it's because I am an old man, and maybe it's because I care too much about being good at video games when I'm clearly not. But like, I just have so many false readings, and like I try to like play Skyward Sword on the original Wii, and like I'm trying to swing the sword to the left, and it's swinging up for some reason. I'm like, that's not the way I fucking swung the controller, Link.
Oh my goodness, I burped and that felt great. No, it was great. No, don't excuse me.
Okay, fuck you.
Wow. This also in my brain makes me ask the next really funny question is just like the Wii balance board or whatever the hell it was. So what happens if you don't have an arm, right? And you have to do these motion games.
That's the thing. I think if you're like impaired like that, it won't.
You just can't.
I mean, a lot of what the camera system seems to do, like, okay, what I will say, I really like about the Mario Party mode is like, I'm hit or miss right now without having played them on the actual physical body movement games. But what I actually really, really like from that is like the live face cam reactions instead of the character portraits. That to me looks fucking awesome. I love that. And amazing. It like moves with the game. So like you don't have to worry about positioning and all that. I think that that's awesome. So if the camera stuff primarily focuses on face tracking, then that's good. But yeah, there may be a few games where, you know, not to be insensitive, but if you're an amputee, you might just not be able to play it. But what I will say on that topic is, did you see the wheelchair game?
Yeah, I did. I watched the stream of it.
Yeah. What is your thoughts on that? And also, have you seen how you actually play the game?
My arms are going to hurt.
Yes, that is the common review. Is like you take your Joy-Con, and I'm just going to do a little visual representation for Quinn. Sorry, stream, you can't see this. You take your Joy-Con in one hand and the other one in the other hand, and then you're going to move around. You have to physically make that motion, and then to shoot the ball, you have to physically do the motion as well to shoot the ball.
For those who missed it, it pretty much looked like he was like hard rowing a boat.
Yes.
Like if you're rowing a boat, that's the motion you're making.
Yeah.
Or sorry, if you're scooting in a wheelchair, that's the motion you're making.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to scooting in a wheelchair for this game where you're playing as a wheelchair character. I will say, for representation's sake, it's awesome that Nintendo's making a game like this. Because I can't really think of very many games that are like done by like a major first party that have done something like this. No offense to anyone who has to live the wheelchair life, but I just think that it doesn't look fun. I think the game...
They better have an alternate way to do that.
Yeah,
they better have an alternate way to move.
The game looks okay. I'll probably maybe check it out if I can, and it's not $800, then maybe.
Right.
But I don't know if I would have fun playing that game is what I'm concerned about.
It's a novelty game in my book.
Yeah, it's like ARMS. You ever play ARMS?
Yeah. It's like ARMS. Yep.
But this time it's called No Legs.
And we have both you and I have cut you off of bringing it up. But seeing as how I know we're getting like close to the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we have more time.
Oh, I can keep going for another half hour or so.
Okay, so yeah, that's perfect. Let's go for pricing.
Okay. Well, what else is there to talk
overall,
about? What else is there to well, we talked about the system pricing.
Yep.
Game pricing. Okay.
Game pricing. Games.
game pricing is going to make me mad. So Mario Kart, for the record, we haven't really talked about the new Mario Kart game yet much, and maybe with a future episode we can talk about that. We might be running out of time on that, but I'm really looking forward to that Mario Kart game. That looks like probably the best Mario Kart. I think
open world is so cool.
Yeah, I was skeptical to the idea of like the Forza Horizon style open world Mario Kart, but upon seeing it in action,
that makes it so much cooler. What?
Yeah,
that's like my favorite. By the way, my favorite racing game series is Forza Horizon, and I still to this day play the original one like all the time. Like I listen to their soundtrack when I'm just driving around in real life. It's crazy. I am a hardcore fanboy for that first game. So to see that in Mario Kart.
Yeah, you can just drive around to the next course, or, you know, apparently if you go off track or like off the beaten road, there's like food items you can find, and by collecting a food item, you can unlock new costumes. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but yeah, the new Mario Kart looks great. You know what doesn't look great is that price tag.
Is the price tag on it? Yeah.
Yeah. If you get the Switch 2, what I will say, base price of the Switch console, $450. With Mario Kart
determined
bundled,
that's okay, you know?
Yeah. With Mario Kart, it's $450. Or sorry, excuse me. It's base price $450. With Mario Kart, it's $500. That's kind of a lot of money. But then if you consider the price of Mario Kart without being in a bundle is $80, then a $50 Mario Kart doesn't look so bad.
$90 if you get the physical cartridge, correct?
That is misinformation. There's there has not been any indication that physical or digital are going to be any different. I do think that digital should be cheaper. I do think that digital should be cheaper, but currently MSRP, according to Nintendo's website, is $79.99. There is no mention of a differential between digital or physical.
I'm glad I brought that up. That's like everybody brings that up all the time. I hear that complaint all the time.
Jeff Keighley himself tweeted that, and like I think that's where a lot of the misinformation came from, because Jeff himself was fucking reading some bullshit article off of Boomer Facebook or something. Because as far as I've independently researched and figured out, Nintendo has never specified that there's a difference in pricing, and that's a whole separate issue too. In regards to the Switch 2, how Nintendo has basically asked everyone, through not including the price of the system or the games in the Direct, they basically ask everyone else to do their own independent research. So go figure, there's a lot of misinformation out there, because people are just spouting the first thing they see and taking it as truth, right?
Me. I'm that guy.
And I can't even blame you for it, because like that stuff should have been front and center on their Nintendo Direct, price at the bottom alongside release date. Why Nintendo decided to not show it was very clearly intentional, to just be like, don't worry about the price right now, be happy. But now it's led to a whole slew of other issues. And then, not to dive too much into geopolitical things, but
we got 30 minutes. We got 30 minutes.
With the current situation of the tariffs in the United States, the prices of the console and the games that we are currently seeing may not be final. It may be as much as 50% more, leading the Switch 2 to be upwards of $700 and games being $120.
Yep.
I think Nintendo, if they were wise, will try to maybe absorb some of that cost themselves. Who's to say if maybe by the time the Switch comes out, the tariff situation will be changed? That's me being optimistic, of course. But, you know, I personally don't see this console being successful at all at that price point, regardless of the fact that, yes, PS5s and well, maybe not so much Xbox, maybe a little bit Xbox, because it's still, I think, manufactured elsewhere. But PS5s will also go up in price. So it's not that the Switch will be the same price as a PS5, but it will be a common price comparison that people will say, well, 4 years ago, I bought a PS5 at this price, and now I have a Switch 2, which is an inferior system at that same price. Like, people are not going to buy that at that price. I probably would not buy the system at that price. That's the reason why I don't have a PlayStation 5, is not because I'm not interested in the games. There are plenty. Oh, okay. Let me rephrase. There are some games on PlayStation 5.
There's like 4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5 games on PlayStation 5 that if I were to play them, I would enjoy myself and say, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not worth $700 to me. No way, no how. No. If I didn't have a PC, I'd justify that way more, because then it'd be like, okay, I'm getting access to a lot of games, but I do. And I'm mostly just looking at Sony's exclusives. And when I'm looking at the Switch, again, comes down to exclusives. Whether or not exclusives are a healthy thing for the industry, I personally vote no. That's an entirely separate discussion. But the way I'm looking at it right now is, what do I want to play that's on the Switch 2? I want to play Mario Kart. I want to play whatever comes next for Xenoblade. It's not announced yet, but like, obviously that's going to be on the Switch 2. I want to play whatever comes next on for Zelda. That Donkey Kong game looks phenomenal. Dusk Bloods may be my first FromSoft game that I'm going to play. Yeah, it may end up being. And like, I'm interested in these games. But if the console becomes $700 and the games themselves go up in price, I don't know. Now, there is one small thing to consider with the price of games that I don't see a lot of people talking about, and that is digital purchases. I've seen a lot of people talk about some aspects of this, but this is entirely theory-based. I don't actually have any information to back this up, so feel free to shoot me down if I'm wrong. But I feel like when it comes to digital games, those will be largely unaffected by the tariffs, because the purchase will come from Nintendo of America. So they can sell it for its originally slated price, right? Would you say that or no?
I don't know how digital media is treated. Like, for instance, like Black Myth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's Chinese makers, and they like released it in America. But I don't think like digital media gets affected by a tariff in the way that a physical hard copy of something can, because that's a physical thing that gets brought over that needs to like have something with fuel running to take it over here,
right?
Where like a digital download's just like click a button and you got it.
I understand people's concerns. There's a lot of people I've seen on the internet who are devastated at the concept of physical media being brushed aside like this, and I don't think it's entirely within Nintendo's control. I think there's maybe a little bit of influence there, because like I think they don't entirely want to all produce physical, like, because they do save money through going digital. But I think it is possible that if this were to be the case, that it wouldn't entirely be blood on Nintendo's hands. But I've seen a lot of people complaining, specifically noting that Nintendo's doing a very strong push against physical media right now. And what I'll say is, like, as far as like PC games have been concerned, PC games haven't done physical games in like what, 20 years?
Since CDs.
Yeah. Yeah. And that industry's been doing fine. So like, I get you. I do. When I can buy physical, I like to buy physical. I had a digital copy of Xenoblade X. I also have a physical copy because I'm that fucking obsessed with the franchise, right? I want to have a physical version of the thing in my hands that I can display on my shelf and be like, that's my game. So I get it. And also, like, in regards to things like Concord, Concord mentioned, when Concord was taken off of the shelves, sure, it wasn't accessible anymore to play anyways, but like it was literally removed from the shops and your digital purchase was removed off of your home screen. Like you cannot play or boot that game anymore. That's concerning. So I don't see Nintendo going down that route, but there's always the fact in the air of like they could, and that scares a lot of people, and I think it's reasonable. So yeah, I'm in a rock and a hard place here as far as like how I feel about this, because on one hand, I do mostly buy digital personally, so like it doesn't fully affect me, but like I get it. Physical media has a very important place in this industry, and while I don't think it will be the death of the industry like some people are projecting, it would be a very big loss, I think, to lose it entirely.
I 100% agree with that.
Megan in chat says it's possible Nintendo would increase the cost of digital media to offset their own costs, even if the tariffs wouldn't influence the digital copies directly. So that could be a thing too, is like Nintendo could slightly raise the prices even further, but not fully make the consumer eat the price of that tariff. So let's say games are $80 now, maybe they do go up to $90. For both physical and digital. In that case, a portion of that new price is being eaten by the consumer, while also Nintendo fronts some of the costs. I think it would probably be even more than that. I think probably maybe even go up to 100, which again is a very, very tough sell for most American families right now. Like, I don't know about you, and we're not going to fully go into economics chat here, but like, as far as like incomes and like bottom wages and all that's concerned, I do not see most people being able to afford regularly buying first-party Nintendo games at $100. I can barely see that happening at 80. 70? I've gotten used to the idea, unfortunately. But like at 100 US is insane.
100 is, and not only 100, but, and I hate to say this like it's an insult, but 100 for a Nintendo game.
Yeah, I mean,
I hate to say it like it's an insult, but I like when people were talking like, oh, hey, the new GTA game could be $100. There's speculation on it being $100. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you know what? They fucking earned it. They've been around forever. GTA, they've been on that grind, and this game is going to probably like go hard. This game is going to go hard for a long time. The last one's still going hard for like that's what they're doing is good work. And if they're like, oh, hey, this is going to be like, this game's going to be like 10 times bigger and blah 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 blah. It's $100. I'd be like, okay, please. I'm surprised you didn't say 120. Like,
another thing,
but a Nintendo game though. That was where I was leaving it at.
I don't fully know if I like. I do agree that maybe GTA might be earning its $100 price tag if that is what comes to it, but I don't know if I fully agree that Nintendo games don't fully earn it. It depends on the game. Yeah. Will Mario Kart earn it? I don't know. I haven't played it yet. But like, there are some very, very, very quality Nintendo games out there. It's not to say that just because a game has kiddie graphics that it's a kiddie game. I think that there's some very well-made, well-developed, not cash grab games out there. There are some as well. Tears of the Kingdom. Go fuck yourself. There are also some games out there that, like, not necessarily everything Nintendo puts out, they put at that $60 price tag. A lot of it they do, but not everything.
Yeah, thank God Nintendo is all about the huge indie market.
Yeah.
Thank God. That's one thing they can't put a price tag and increase on. Like, those indie games will always be down there like 10 to $20, and I'll always be happy for it.
One thing I had another thing and then I forgot what I was going to say. Shit. Nope,
Let me
I
hard
lost
wipe
it.
your brain. Let me
Yeah.
hard wipe your brain and completely stray away from all topics and just absolutely screw you.
Okay.
Did you see the announcement for Castle Miner Z?
I don't know what that even is.
Oh my god.
What is that?
It is an old Xbox 360 game. It was supposed to be like a Minecraft styled game, but it had like guns and zombie. Like it was zombies, but it wasn't like the Minecraft zombies. It was like zombies.
Okay.
It was cool. And it played like Minecraft. The goals were similar. Don't die. But now the guy who made it is coming back and saying, "Hey, I've been working on this for a long time, but I'm making like a 4K version of the game, and it's
There you
gonna have
go.
like tons of new features." And yeah, so
That's awesome.
the little kid in me went absolutely ape shit.
Yeah. As for anything else relating to the Switch 2, I don't have much to add to that. Sorry. That's
No,
cool,
like I said, I
though.
was gonna screw you. I said I was
Yeah,
gonna screw
yeah.
you. It's okay.
Do you have anything else you want to add regarding Switch 2 or any Switch 2 adjacent announcements? Anything coming to the system?
Uh,
Thoughts on
Switch
Donkey
2,
Kong?
I might play it.
Yeah,
It looks pretty cool.
looks like it's made by the Odyssey team.
Yeah. I like the design of Donkey Kong. I like that. They could bring that into most games, including Donkey Kong, and I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking like that in Mario Kart, which looks cool.
Yeah, we don't have those
Hiccups,
retractable
goddamn.
teeth anymore. No more retractable teeth, boys.
Are you sure? Maybe they're still there. We just don't know about them yet. We haven't
Dude,
gotten a
if
chance
it
to
is,
look
I'll
through
lose
his
my mind.
gums.
I'll lose my mind.
We don't know.
But no,
you can never
the
be
game
too
looks okay.
sure.
It looked very, very open worldy.
It's Mario Odyssey, but with Minecraft. Because you can
What?
destroy the terrain. Did you not see that
yeah.
part? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like fucking Ender Dragon and Donkey Kong. Hell yeah.
No, yeah, it looks great. I heard from preview footage that the frame rate is like not 60. I heard it's like 40, which is like okay. But it looks like there's a lot going on in the game, so we'll see how that performs when the game actually comes out.
Yeah.
We already talked
There was
a little bit
on
about
screen.
Yeah, we already talked a little bit about Metroid, right? So we're good there.
Yep.
Unless you have anything else you want to add.
Not much. Really, all I said was all I really had to say about it, which was now we have the Force.
The red suit is sexy. I like it.
Yeah, yeah, it looks good. Every single Prime game has had a gimmick mechanic to it, or like some cool bomb ass suit by the end of it that like set it apart from all the other ones. I 100% agree with you. Prime 2 Echoes was good.
Yeah.
Echoes was good.
I remember getting really salty at it, but I think it's the best one.
It was the coolest game I had played like up to that point as a kid. When I played Echoes, I was like, okay, this is a cool game, and it's on a freaking GameCube. I was blown away.
I played it for the first time on stream through the trilogy, the Wii trilogy, like 4 years ago or so, 3 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
I loved it.
So 4, I'm excited because this is a little bit more than just you got a special type, you got a phazon beam, things like that, like phazon suit. No, you get telepathy and freaking the ability to move shit with your mind, which is crazy cool. And they also looks like they vastly improved the HUD as far as when you're scanning things. They made it way more simple, and it looks way, 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 way better. I'm so happy for that.
I'm very much looking forward to it. I liked Metroid Prime 3, but the Force motion control things goes back to that thing for me. I didn't really love it. So for me, I rank the Prime games 2, 1, 3. And 3 is still a good game to me.
Did you ever play Hunters?
I did not.
On the DS?
It's another one of those things where I bought it on Wii U, just like I said before, for the DS Virtual Console. Have not played it yet.
It was, I would probably say, truthfully, and this is just, I don't know if it's nostalgia talking, but it's like 2 Hunters, 1 3,
Really?
probably.
I heard that the controls are weird in Hunters.
They are, but it's a cool game.
Yeah.
It's a cool game. I had a lot of fun with it when I was young. So even if it's a shit game, it like ranks really high up there for me just because I played the crap out of that game. I played the crap out of it.
Base.
Just like how I piss people off when I say like one of my favorite like GameCube games is freaking Shadow the Hedgehog. That usually pisses people off.
It pisses me off. I played that last year and I fucking hate that game.
It pisses a lot of people off. That's just nostalgia for me. So
yeah. Speaking of GameCube games, real quick, GameCube games on Switch 2. Thoughts? Gonna play.
Fuck the secondary market.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. We finally get accessible XD and Coliseum without having to spend over $200. Fuck
I'm looking forward to playing Path of Radiance actually myself, which is another one of those games that's really fucking expensive.
Yep.
Yeah. And also because that game is hard as shit, I'm looking forward to having it with rewind and save states.
Dude.
They did confirm, by the way, Switch 2 NSO will have rewind on N64 Online. Currently,
that's going to be cool.
Currently, N64 Online on Switch 1 does not have rewind. It only has save states. So rewind is coming to Switch 2 and N64 Online. I don't know about GameCube,
that's cool.
But hopefully so.
So you mean we could actually probably have a full clear on Big Hand? Holy shit. Holy shit. That's game changing. Wow.
One more GameCube adjacent thing, and then I think we'll move on to a very, very brief grab bag. Kirby Air Riders. Yeah?
Oh boy. I am ready. I am ready.
I saw so many people that were so pissed that Sakurai was working on this and not Smash Brothers. I was there for it, man. I didn't give a shit. I don't want another Smash Brothers. I don't think Ultimate can be beaten.
Smash Brothers, dude.
Yeah, I'm
fuck
fine.
Smash Brothers.
I'm fine with Ultimate if it gets like a 120 FPS patch on Switch 2. Fine, whatever. I don't care. I want to play Kirby Air Riders.
Yeah, Kirby's the boy.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite Nintendo character is Kirby. Like hands down. So Kirby Air Riders. I would, Did
you play the original Air Ride? I guess.
Yes. And then I really wanted them to do something cool with like Robobot, but they didn't, and I was really sad.
There was a rumor for like the last year that there was going to be a Robobot remake, and that never came to light.
There
Instead,
was.
we get this.
There was. I'm happy with this. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
It looks fun. It's going to be super fun.
So I love Kirby Air Ride, right? It's genuinely probably top 3 GameCube game for me. Okay. I have one complaint with it. 2 complaints. First complaint: 9 total courses in the entire game. What the fuck? It's a racing game. Not 9 Grand Prix. 9 tracks total. That's it. So for me, if they're going to make this game worth it, I want to see maybe not 9 Grand Prix, but I need some more tracks than that. You play them all in like 40 minutes. It's way too short. Now, where you get your longevity from the game is the achievement system and City Trial. We got to see both those come back. That's the other thing. If you give me more tracks as like a base, maybe some more machines, and then
it's a Switch 2 game. It's gonna have a ton of tracks. They better,
Yeah, and I think the original, if I'm not mistaken, from watching Sakurai's video on his personal YouTube channel where he talked about the game, I'm pretty sure the original Kirby Air Ride was in development for like 6 months total. This game has been in development for at least 2 years, from what Sakurai also said. So hopefully we're getting more. The original Kirby Air Ride, as great of a game it is, as much nostalgia as I have with it, is you just run out of shit so quickly to do in that game. and a lot of your replay ability just comes from your own interest and just continuing to play again. See how you do this time. Which I enjoy, but I do find enough in the races to the point where, like, upon revisit, I just play each track once and then do maybe city trial for an hour, and then I'm good. Do you think Top Ride will come back? Because I don't give a shit about Top Ride.
I don't care if it comes back.
Yeah.
I'm of same mind. I do not care if that comes back.
Give me Air Ride, give me City Trial. I don't care if Top Ride is axed. I'll be fine if it is.
And if they do keep it in, they better change something about it. They better incorporate something different, please God. And don't call it that anymore. Don't even say either word in the entire game.
You don't want to Top Ride with Kirby? What's wrong?
I'm good. You know what game series that I would love to see another fucking game of that we haven't seen a new game of that's just been like chef's kiss in a long time, that I'd love to see incorporated into the Switch too? No. I was almost gonna say fuck F-Zero, but I'd love to see a new game. No, Star Fox, bro.
Fuck Star Fox.
Dude, what?
I'm joking.
I'd love to see a new Star Fox game, like similar to like the way Assault was.
Do you think it'll be just Star Fox 64's plot again though? Like Zero?
No.
Because that's all. They're just fucking stuck.
The whole Star Fox story is the Star Fox story is touched in on so much shit. There's like dinosaur tribes and like.
Well, yeah, I know about Assault and like
all kinds of shit
in Dinosaur Planet in game, but like fucking Star Fox Zero was just a retelling of Star Fox 64, and Star Fox 64 is a retelling of the original Star Fox. So like, I just hope that like it's fine that they bring Andros back and like everything associated with that, but I want to see like a whole new like system, like a new star system, or maybe just have it like be like the descendants of Fox McCloud, like a new Fox.
He had kids. He had kids.
Yeah,
him and the Fox girl had kids.
Yeah,
they could totally do it. They could just time skip.
Yeah,
and just call it a day.
Because like I think Peppy Hare's voice actor in both English and Japanese, I might be wrong on that, but has passed away. So like we can't really bring back Peppy without recasting him. So what if we just do like a descendant of the Star Fox thing, and then
and a lot of them have kids now, like
and the big thing being like that the new Fox doesn't have daddy issues like Fox McCloud does, current Fox with dead dad.
I thought that was a cool feature, man.
It was a cool feature, but again, it's the plot of 3 games. So like, let's do something else.
Hey man, say that shit to Legend of Zelda.
Well, I have problems with Zelda's story too. Don't you fucking worry.
say that shit to them.
Oh yeah, there was also a new Hyrule
He didn't
Warriors.
do nothing wrong.
There's a Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which I definitely won't be playing because
what?
I don't know. I might, but like I love Hyrule Warriors and I love Age of Calamity.
Yeah, dude.
Age of Calamity shat on Breath of the Wild story by doing AU bullshit, and then also I just don't give a shit about Tears of the Kingdom story. I want to move on from that. Let's just do something else, and it's more Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm just like,
the cow must be milked. We must. The
cow is also a cannibal in Mario Kart. Did you see that?
Yeah,
the cow can eat the hamburgers. All right. Oh yeah. Are you also going to be spending $6 to play Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour?
No.
Okay, moving on. Okay, I think
I'll just watch it. We're good.
Yeah, same.
I probably won't be able to watch it from the Switch because by that time they'll have like nixed YouTube from their apps available as well. Right. But we'll survive somehow. I have a phone.
Yo, when Joseph Ferris showed up, I just about lost my fucking mind. Talking about split fiction.
Yeah.
Did you watched live, right? Did you see the technical problems with the stream as well?
I heard about the technical problems.
Yeah, it was a fucking nightmare. The first half, the first like 80% of the show, the audio was desync. And then there was just one point where the frame just froze for like a minute and a half straight. And then it was like, and then like the audio kept playing. And when the frames resumed, it resumed from where it had paused and did not catch up for another like 3 minutes. So we lost like the reveal of like FF7 remake and Cyberpunk to that. Like you can only see that if you like rewatch the VOD.
Rewatch it, yeah.
Yeah. It was so fucking funny and embarrassing for Nintendo. An omen, some might even say, for the system upcoming. Who knows? Wow, there's still a lot that we could be talking about, but genuinely, I'm running out of time here.
Nope, totally fine. We could resume the next time we all meet up.
True.
When the sign language lady isn't holding the other two hostage.
Yeah. Finally, they'll be released from their hell prison.
Yeah.
I guess one.
Hey, you haven't been there yet. You haven't been to the hell prison, but it's actually pretty damn comfortable there, man. They provide pillows.
I have been there. I was there last week. I was checking in on the boys. They were fine. They're suffocating, but they're fine. Okay, I got one last thing for you, and then we're gonna call this stream here. I was gonna have a grab bag where we talked about the Minecraft movie, but I haven't seen it yet anyways. So all I was gonna do is say chicken jockey and then move on. Chicken jockey. Okay. Did you see the thing with game share and virtual game cards?
Yes.
What is your thoughts on this system that they're introducing?
It's about time.
For which one? For both of them, or
for both of them?
Yeah.
Seriously, everybody else is doing it.
Yeah.
Both of those things, everybody else is doing them.
Well, so the virtual game cards thing is weird because, like, you can technically already, like, I could let you play any of my digital games on Switch even right now. All you have to do is put my account on your Switch, and then you have my games. The difference there is if I'm playing my Switch, you don't have access to my games at that moment. With virtual game cards, it quite literally emulates the concept of giving you my game card where I don't have access for the game, and it gives it to you for a set amount of time, and then it gives it back automatically. And then I think I could just give it back to you if you want to keep playing it, right? But like it automatically gives back after 2 weeks. I think it was kind of poorly revealed. Like a lot of people were just kind of confused on what the virtual game card was. I think it's a cool system.
Yep. I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only downside I personally have, other than like it is cool to have a physical media, like something there in front of me and on my shelf that I can look at. The only other thing is like I like to buy physical games sometimes so I can let certain friends borrow them. Now I don't really have to worry about that with a digital purchase, which is nice. But then there's also the game share feature, which is separate from this, which is basically DS download play is back. Yay!
Yep. So that's pretty cool.
That's about time. That should have been there for day one on Switch.
And it's gonna be that, but like 20 times better.
Yeah,
it's gonna be that, but 20 times better. I think it's gonna run perfectly. I don't think it's gonna have an issue, like because with the DS download play, connectivity was still kind of like shoddy as hell. Because I used to do it on some of the more hardcore games, like on the DS, like Black Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops on the DS. It was a game. It had a lot going on in it, and it ran like crap when a lot of things were on screen. Add in DS download play, and when you're playing with like 4, you could do it up to I think it was like 8 people on Call of Duty Black Ops. You could do it in one room, and it ran like dog crap if you had more than like 2 people playing with you.
And
this is gonna be not that. I'm sure it's gonna run perfect.
Yeah, I also seem to remember when it came to DS download play that like some games would be like feature gimped as well. Like Mario Kart, you could only play as a shy guy if you were doing download play, which was something to keep in mind. I also have this image here from Nintendo's website that I'm gonna throw on stream, and I'm also throw your way, Quinn. Something that I'm literally just now discovering is it looks like your aspect ratio is gonna, no, not the aspect ratio, but your image is gonna get shrunk down on screen so that way they can put like a little connectivity bar on the top. It looks really weird. I don't know how I feel about this, but basically your game window is going to shrink down a little bit so they can say using game share on the top, and then it shows like your connectivity bar on the top. I kind of wish that could have been overlaid over the game, but I guess I get it because like some UI elements potentially could have been covered by doing that.
This isn't their gaming screen though. They're watching somebody playing this. I'm hoping.
No, they're playing together. It's because
oh yeah, okay, yeah.
One person's Mario, the other person's Luigi. This is 3D World in the screenshot.
I'm sure surely they're not going to cut off almost an entire inch off of the screen size to do that.
Yeah.
Hopefully
not. But we'll
hopefully
see
it just pops up, because like any other notifications, like the notification like a friend going online, it pops up a bar on the top of the screen for like 3 or 4 seconds, then it just goes away.
Right.
Like why not with this, you know?
I guess they want that bar to be there at all times. I don't know. Maybe the UI would get adjusted before this comes out, but that looks weird. I don't know how I feel about that.
Unnecessary.
Yeah. It is nice though, as you see in the picture. You know, it's nice that Switch 1 can talk with Switch 2.
Yes.
Based on the website, Switch 2 can share the game to a Switch 1, but a Switch 1 cannot share a game to a Switch 2.
Odd.
Yeah, I guess it's more just a technical thing. I'm not really sure why, but
my assumption is what your assumption was at the very beginning of this entire conversation regarding Switch 1 games being played on Switch 2 and it having to downgrade itself to play the Switch 1 version, like a Wii would with the GameCube. Well, doing that digitally with a download share, I don't think they would be able to do that. So it just doesn't do that way.
Maybe not. Here's the screenshot. Going to throw it up on stream for anyone who wants to see the infographic. It says share games locally. Switch 1, Switch 2 checkmark. Switch 1 X. Receive shared games locally. Checkmark for both. So I'll send this to you too, Quinn, if you want to see what the hell I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
And then it also says, you can also do this through Game Share. Through the Game Chat app. So that's interesting. You can do it over online as well. I didn't realize this. This wasn't really touched on in the direct. You can do Game Share online through the Game Chat app. But it's not compatible with Switch 1 whatsoever. So Switch 2s can communicate with each other through game chat to share a game digitally through multiplayer. And again, the reference image shows Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury being essentially streamed to 3 other Switches. Throw that on. Oh, that's the same image. Throw that on stream real quick. And then I'll show Quinn as well. But yeah, I mean, the game share feature is like, again, like you kind of said, it's like, it's about time, you know? Maybe it was a technical reason why this couldn't happen. Maybe the Switch 1 didn't support the amount of power for it. But I'm glad to see that is an option, at least in some way, on Switch 2. Just another convenient thing, I guess. I don't know. Does Xbox and PlayStation have a system like that specifically?
No, and that's the cool thing with this one is not only did they finally catch up. I mean, because like we already know, you can share games between Xboxes, and like I could share games between my Xbox and my like anything. I could do it on my phone because they do cloud-based gaming now. That was their thing. That's their shtick. Oh, you can access any of your save files on any device via cloud. Cool, Fucking awesome. Cool. Is the goat of that. Cool. Well, the Switch, I guess, is going in a different direction where maybe that's why they're not going with Discord, because Discord wouldn't be able to incorporate what they're doing right now, where like you can hop into a video chat with somebody and then just hop into the game with them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty crazy. That's something nobody else is doing. So they not only caught up, but they kind of just went, okay, well, here's our thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like big
I like
kind
it.
of a middle finger to Discord, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, Discord went, okay, well, have fun only being able to connect to Switch users. Like,
Yeah. It would be nice if this had some kind of Discord integration as well. Like maybe some kind of middle ground. It's not, but like, you know, maybe one day I can be optimistic, right? Maybe one day Nintendo would be willing to cooperate and offer some kind of middle ground where, like, if you want to do like the hop in with the game thing, you have to use game chat, but otherwise, you know, it should also be said, you know, you're going to be able to play Soul Calibur 2 as Link in 2025 and just be able to join another person and do the same. How does that make you feel? Going to be able to shit on the Soul Calibur 2 ranked community. I don't think that game has that, but we'll make it.
There will be Discord channels to it. So it looks like everybody will have to use their phones to access those channels.
Yeah.
Again.
Did you see that they're also really pushing like their mobile app too? They're doing a lot more stuff with their mobile apps lately.
Yeah. They released that one where it's just pretty much like a Nintendo Direct daily.
Mm-hmm.
Where instead of them actually giving you a Nintendo Direct daily, it's just like some bullshit reminder about some old ass game I don't care about anymore.
Well, I mean, they've been doing like news drops on it, which is kind of nice. Like you can check the app instead of checking Twitter if you are like me and don't like checking Twitter anymore. So that's nice. I can stay informed.
I don't even do
Nintendo
either.
News, but fair. They also showed off GPS mode for Tears of the Kingdom, and with the Switch 2 edition, something they didn't elaborate on in the Direct and instead elaborated on in like a separate trailer uploaded to their YouTube channel is with the Switch 2 editions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, there's the GPS mode, of course, but then there's also like they're adding a whole bunch of new like voice acting to the game, only accessible through using the mobile app. Where if you have the app open when you approach certain like structures, like some characters will talk to you and give you like lore about the area you're in, which is like super like what the hell? Why is this getting added? It's cool, but like, you know,
that's really cool if you're into the game. I mean, like there's a lot of people that are going to appreciate the added lore. I mean, there's a lot of lore. There's lots of it. There's a lot.
All right. Well, I don't think I have much else to say other than chicken jockey. So, Quinn, where can the good people find you at?
You could find me over on Twitch, but not on a Switch.
That was good. That was good. Thank you.
Yeah. Quinn _is_trash. No more underscores. Go check me out on there.
Shit.
I have my Discord on my channel there. Click on the Discord link. I post my weekly schedule on there, which is something I need to do tonight. So, yippee! What about this handsome host of doing the most?
Oh, that was some good alliteration, or was that rhyming? That was rhyming. Oh fuck.
Yeah. I know if we could smazz it up with alliteration. I could say the handsome host.
Oh.
The handsome handy host.
Well, you can go to twitch.tv/GabrielSurgeVA to find more of me. Or if you're currently watching this live, you're already watching me from the places you can find me. Alternatively, if you're watching on YouTube, then I guess you can also find me on youtube.com/@ live libraries, and you can find the channel called Gabriel Surge Live Libraries, where I upload live libraries. And if I keep saying live libraries just like that, you'll stop thinking it's a word, live libraries. And it's actually 2 words, live libraries. So think about it like that, huh? And there's VODs. You can watch all my VODs there. And currently, other than the Pixel Pulse show on the twitch.tv place and the YouTube place, the only other thing you're going to really be seeing on this channel until I'm done with it is the Xenoblade Chronicles X video game. So don't stop by if you hate good games. Stop by in like a month after I move, and then you can probably watch me play other games again. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you guys in a month. If you didn't see, the new Pixel Pulse thing is we're going to be doing the show every first Sunday of the month. So for the time being anyways, this is going to be the only show in April. So we'll see you again on May 4th for the next episode, unless, you know, that there could still be like a delay where we're like, okay, we got to do it on the 11th or something. I don't really know what's going on specifically the 4th, but as far as I can tell you right now, May 4th will be the next episode. Episode after that will be June 1st. The episode after that will be July 6th, you know, and so on and so forth, August 3rd. May the 4th be with you on the next goddamn episode of Pixel Pulse. Good.